Chapter 41 Gray Nightmare. Yi Yuan felt a flower in front of him and came to a colorful dream world. Obviously, this is an independent space. It seems that each layer of the magic tower is divided into a number of independent spaces, each of which is in a different space. This kind of technique is not magical in the realm of the gods, but it is obviously remarkable that a small sect can use this means to train students. Yi Yuan is somewhat blind, and I don't know how to conduct an assessment in such a space that has nothing. Just then, a voice rang abruptly. Welcome to the Magic Tower for the first time. You are about to get an advanced entry assessment. I am the leader of the assessment. Yi Yuan did not make a fuss, knowing that this must be the spirit of the Magic Tower. However, what made Yi Yuan somewhat surprised was that he was actually transferred to the entry-level advanced assessment. It seems that the Magic Tower is automatically identified as an advanced entry for the first time it enters. In this way, Yi Yuan and Greener stood on a starting line. What should I do now? Yi Yuan said. The spirit seems to hesitate a little, and there is some surprise about Yi Yuan's calmness. As the instrument responsible for the advanced assessment, it has received countless students, and it is the first time that it has encountered such a calm student. You are meditating on the spot. I will take you into the assessment. No matter what happens, don't resist, or you will be at your own risk, said Ling Ling. Yi Yuan said nothing, and meditated on the spot. He is somewhat curious as to how the hull of the phantom is being assessed. After a while, Yi Yuan felt that he was a little fluttering. In the meantime, I came to an empty practice room. Seeing this situation, Yi Yuan's mouth has a smile. It turns out that the spirit of this illusion tower is actually a nightmare, and the Union sect is a good means. The 32 banned spirits should look like the lowest level of gray nightmare. In the dream, the assessment, security and fair, the people who refine this illusion tower have a bit of talent. Yi Yuan thought secretly. Nightmare is a strange creature that comes with dreams. They have their own consciousness but no fixed form. You can quietly lurk into the dreams of people and even monsters, and grow up in your dreams. Yi Yuan knows that there is a highest level of white nightmare among the gods. The magical power is very powerful and can be compared with the king of the gods. Their magical powers are almost always related to dreams, and they are hard to prevent. The spirit of Yi Yuan's encounter now should be the lowest gray nightmare. They are willing to be the spirit of the illusion tower, and I am afraid to strengthen themselves with the help of the student's dreams. Otherwise, even the lowest gray nightmare, it is not a small sect of the Yunyanzong. It should be known that Danwu College can be more than just a family of Qin State. Other countries under the jurisdiction of Yunyanzong also have Danwu College. Their assessment of the students must also be based on the Magic Tower. Such a big slap in the gray nightmare will inevitably lead to revenge of the nightmare, unless these gray nightmare are willing to come to be spiritual. Yi Yuan knows that he is now in a dream. The independent space just now, I am afraid, in order to cooperate with the nightmare to display the nightmare technique, the students will be introduced into the dream. Yi Yuan is also amazed at this approach, but also feels his own strength. The ability to project the reality in reality, the ability of the nightmare family is really powerful. In this way, there is no possibility of speculation in the advanced assessment. Yi Yuan praised in his heart. Suddenly, a middle-aged man appeared in front of Yi Yuan, and he knew that this strong man was an illusion of gray dreams. In a dream, the nightmare can be transformed into any appearance. Now I am responsible for your advanced assessment. The assessment is about to begin. Now, you can choose your weapon. Nightmare said. Would you choose a weapon? Hey, then choose a sword. Yi Yuan's indifferent appearance is obviously not a concern for the entry-level assessment. The nightmare's attitude toward Yi Yuan is very strange. After other students enter the dream, they always ask the east to ask the west, and they are confused. When Yi Yuan came in, the nightmare found that he was not surprised at all. The expression on the face is clearly known as being in a dream. Yi Yuan knows the nightmare, and does not mean that other people also know the nightmare. In fact, nightmares are very mysterious because they have no fixed form. Even in a dream, you can't discover its existence unless the nightmare takes the initiative to let you discover. Because it may be a little mouse in your dreams, or it may be a grass in your dreams. Of course, the nightmare will not tell the students their identity, but just tell them that they are the appraisers of the magic tower. But Yi Yuan, nothing is curious. The dream of an empty-handed move, Yi Yuan's hand has a sword out of thin air, the most common iron sword. This is too shabby. Yi Yuan smiled bitterly. The nightmare is expressionless and faint. In order to ensure the fairness of the assessment, the college requires us to treat each student equally. No matter what weapon you choose, I will only give you the most common. Yi Yuanjian's sword took a sword flower and said helplessly, "Okay, let's make use of it." The nightmare is the first time I have encountered such a big student, but he doesn't have much thought. However, it is a full-fledged rookie, not worthy of his attention. For the nightmare, his focus is on the advanced students at the prefecture level. Now tell me your name and origin, I will record your assessment results. Nightmare is still indifferent. Wangcheng Yaoshangge, Yi Yuan. Yi Yuan reported his name and origin. The nightmare nodded and said, "The assessment begins now, they are your opponents." The nightmare reached out and the 5 black warriors appeared out of thin air, and it was also full of vitality. Subsequently, the middle-aged strong man who became a dream illusion disappeared, apparently leaving Yi Yuan to be self-defeating. The advanced assessment of entry is not worthy of his attention. Yi Yuan glanced at the 5 black-skinned black warriors, and could not help but grin. These 5 black-clothed warriors are the most common kind of fourfold. The minimum requirement for Danwu College to recruit students is to break through the 4-year-old before the age of 16, and be able to beat the 5 most common 4-powered team. For the average person, this is an extremely difficult challenge. In the dream, any weapon, equipment, and remedy can't be brought in, only by defeating the opponent by their own strength. At the same time, challenging 5 opponents in the same realm, it is almost impossible for a talented student to succeed. However, this is a piece of cake for Yi Yuan. After the nightmare disappeared, the 5 black warriors were launched at the same time, attacking Yi Yuan from 5 different angles. Yi Yuan took the sword and stood it, and gently shot it. The waves are in the palm of your hand, a wave. Yuanli ripples open, and 5 black warriors fly backwards. These 5 black warriors apparently did not have the power to fight again, and the moment they fell to the ground disappeared. The next moment, the middle-aged brawny appeared again, and the expression on his face was slightly amazed. Yi Yuan looked at the nightmare and smiled. "Sorry, I forgot to tell you, I am coming to participate in the advanced level of the yellow." Chapter 42. It's a spike. Every time you conduct an advanced assessment, you will always attract a lot of students to come onlookers. Because of the results of the assessment, it may affect their status at their own level. There is a light curtain outside the magic tower, where you can see the progress of everyone's assessment. Well, someone passed the assessment so quickly. It's Yi Yuan. Someone was surprised to see that the light curtain changed so quickly. Is that Yi Yuan who killed Fei Qingping in the battle of life and death? This guy is really abnormal. But this is nothing. He should be the first time to participate in the advanced assessment, and now it should be an entry-level assessment. But this is enough metamorphosis. According to the time, he should just start the assessment. Although it is an advanced entry, but to face 5 vitality, Yi Yuan is only a 4-powered, is he spike 5 of the same order? Hey, is there really such a possibility? How strong is this guy's combat power? When I first participated in the advanced level, I spent a whole fragrant time to kill them. Even after the breakthrough, Fei Qingping, I am afraid I can't do 5 spikes in the second quarter. Hey, it seems that today is right, this Yi Yuan is really flying. I want to see now, what can he do in this assessment? In any case, Yi Yuan killed 5 of the same order warriors, and caused a burst of sorrow among the students. These students have all participated in the advanced level of assessment, but no matter who they are, they dare not say that they can kill 5 of the same level when they are full of vitality. Yi Yuan can be able to kill Fei Qingping, who is 2 years higher than him when he is 3. Now that he has been full of vitality and stepped on a small step, how strong is Yi Yuan's combat power? Everyone is a little curious. Most of them are to see who can advance to the heavens, but now their attention has been pulled by Yi Yuan. Hu Yangyang looked at the light curtain and was silent. He was different from the onlookers. The most concerned about it was Yi Yuan's assessment. When Yi Yuan passed the entry examination, his surprise was no less than other students. When he is full of strength, he can easily defeat 5 of the same ranks, but if he kills, he can't do it anyway. This Yi Yuan really reveals an accident everywhere. Look, Wang Yuan and Lu Ruoshui have come. They are estimated to be investigating the military situation. I want to see the depth of Yi Yuan's strength. Hey, they saw Yi Yuan have passed the entry level and didn't know what to think. At this time, it was found that there were 2 more people onlookers. It was Wang Yuan and Lu Ruoshui. The contradiction between Wang Yuan and Yi Yuan is not a secret in Danwu College. It is now here, naturally for Yi Yuan. Wang Yuan looked at the progress of the leaf on the light curtain. His face was very dark. When he first arrived at the magic tower, he saw the scene of Yi Yuanjin. Although it is only an advanced level, but this speed is too fast, right? Wang Yuan still doesn't know that Yi Yuan is already full of vitality. If he knows, he doesn't know what to think. In the Hall of the Phantom, the nightmare looked at Yi Yuan, and the expression on his face was a bit stunned. Over the years, he has scored a large number of students, each of whom has far-reaching strengths. Even some of the students are shocked and can easily defeat the 5 warriors, but like Yi Yuan's killing 5 of the same ranks, I met it for the first time. If you want to kill 5 people who are 4-powered and 4-powered, you must at least cross a small step and have the strength of 7 strengths. For genius students, the more difficult the battle is not difficult, but it is very difficult to cross a small step. When Yi Yuan was 3-powered, even if he practiced a wave of waves and waves, he couldn't find a way to get a clear battle. However, now, Yi Yuan has the strength of 4 strengths, killing 5 of the same level, which has to be strong. Sorry, I forgot to tell you, I am coming to participate in the advanced level. Yi Yuan smiled. The nightmare was a bit uncomfortable with Yi Yuan's attitude. He frowned slightly. Well, now I'm starting the leveling assessment. This is your opponent. The nightmare won handedly, and 5 black-clothed warriors appeared, and the 5 black-clothed warriors who appeared this time were all 6. It's 6 strengths, the difficulty doesn't seem to increase too much. Yi Yuan said to himself. Indeed, as Yi Yuan said, the difficulty of advanced level is not much better than the advanced level of entry. Although the strength of the 6 weapons is strong, but it has not crossed a small step, it is not insurmountable for the students. With the accumulation of time, the improvement of the student's realm, it is not too difficult to deal with the 5 vitality. The real difficulty is the advanced level and advanced level. The meta-advanced opponent suddenly went to a grade, and was a 5-powered 8-armed warrior. The advanced opponents at the prefecture level are 5 spirits. Under normal circumstances, students who want to pass the assessment must bring their own realm, otherwise it will be difficult to pass the assessment. A heavy realm of a heavy world, the more people who fight against the 5 high-level warriors, in addition to the genius trainees of Longtang, the average person cannot achieve. In other words, if you want to become a heaven-level student through advanced level, the first thing to do is to reach the spiritual environment. Therefore, Wang Yuan can become a prefecture-level student with a breakthrough in the realm of vitality. This is a very rare achievement, and naturally it will be cultivated by the college. 5 people are 6 powerful, but they are much stronger than that. However, when the spirit is triple, Yi Yuan can easily kill Fei Qingping. Now he is already full of vitality, and he is not afraid of the 5 elements. 5 of the 6 vitality teamed up and attacked. Yi Yuan still took the sword and stood up again. Stacking waves, palms, 2 waves. 5 black warriors were shot again and disappeared. The nightmare is wide open, and some can't believe the scene. This kid is terrible. Hu Yangyang looked at the light curtain and his pupils shrank. Is it a spike? How can this be? The advanced level of the yellow level is 5 yuan and 6 weights. Everyone is too higher than Yi Yuan, how can they be spiked? Although seeing Yi Yuan's breakthrough in the 4 powerful situation, Hu Yangyang knew that he was in the advanced level and was 10, but he did not expect Yi Yuan's advancement to be so easy. 5 members of the 6-powered military, each of them is more powerful than Fei Qingping. If Yi Yuan is strong, can't it be so exaggerated? Look, Yi Yuan's advanced assessment is over. He should be a yellow-level advanced assessment this time. That is, he is now a metaphysical student. This guy is too enchanting, And, it's a spike. Kill 5 people and 6 weights. How did this guy do it? Even if the dragon brother participated in the yellow level, it's not like this. Exaggeration. I am already drunk. This guy is not a human being at all. It is beyond my imagination. Wang Yuan looked at the light curtain and his teeth were bitten. At this moment, he deeply felt the threat. Yi Yuan's progress is too fast. If he goes on like this, I am afraid that when he participates in the infinite trial, he is not his opponent. No, Yi Yuan must die. Chapter 43 Nightmare Feeding. Yi Yuan's advanced speed brought a deep sense of crisis to Wang Yuan. Can kill 5 people with 6 vitality, maybe Yi Yuan already has the strength to impact the level. Even if you can't succeed, I'm afraid it won't go too far. This strength is already very close to Wang Yuan. Originally, it was not as good as Yi Yuan in the body. Now, even the fighting power can't open the other side. What capital does he have in front of Yi Yuan? This time, the infinite trial, we must let Su Shi brother solve Yi Yuan, or the endless trouble. Wang Yuan made up his mind in his heart. You said, will Yi Yuan hit the land level? After the shock, someone suddenly thought of another possibility. When this was said, everyone was silent. They all know that Yi Yuan's strength is very strong, but he's 4 elements in the face of the 4 elements. Is this too exaggerated? It is not uncommon for the 4 heavy and multi-level to overcome the 6-fold strength. However, the 8-fold vitality is higher than the 4-fold realm, and it also contains a small step. This small step is not so easy to cross. However, Yi Yuan's challenge to the yellow level is too easy, and it's easy to get to the point, but it's a little loose. Look, Yi Yuan, he really challenges the advanced level. The shout broke the calm, and everyone's eyes were once again concentrated on the light curtain. It's just crazy. The first assessment directly challenges 3 levels. Is this probably the history of Danwu College? You said, Yi Yuan, will he challenge success? The previous person who made everyone silent, once again silenced everyone. In the face of 5 talents, Yi Yuan is no longer as easy as before, and the flash of lightning broke out in an instant. Even so, in the face of the siege of 5 people, Yi Yuan is still dangerous. IXXX, you actually dare to yin me. These 5 people will actually be swords. Yi Yuan shouted while shouting. Nightmare. The Zon level advanced assessment started, but the nightmare was added by the ghosts, so that the 5 black-shouldered warriors attacked Yi Yuan with a sword array. The 5 black warriors have greatly increased their strength after using the sword array. Now they are combined with 5 people, not worse than the powerful one. Yi Yuan itself is the master of the formation, and the 5 people found out when he shot. With his strength in the array, it is not difficult to break the ground. However, these 5 people are too strong, and this overwhelming advantage makes Yi Yuan simply innocent, not to mention breaking. The huge gap in strength is not the eye can make up for it. Even if the 5 people's swords are full of holes in Yi Yuan's eyes, he can't make a counterattack. Yi Yuan's eyes were dazzled, and there were swords everywhere. Fortunately, the flash is a small range of body martial arts, used to fight this group battle just right, otherwise Yi Yuan has 10 lives have also gone. Even so, Yi Yuan was swept from time to time by the sword, cutting out a wound. Although in a dream, the pain is incomparably real, and the nightmare of the nightmare is really powerful. After a while, Yi Yuan's clothes have been ruined. The nightmare looked at the leaves of the left and right, and there was a smile on the corner of the mouth. There was a kind of revenge. Although the nightmare was born in a dream, it also has various emotions such as joys, sorrows and sorrows. I don't know why, the calmness that Yi Yuan showed from the beginning made him very upset. He has always been mysterious and arrogant, but today, in front of Yi Yuan, he feels that he seems to have been stunned, and there is no secret. Who is participating in the assessment here, who is not respectful to him? It's a bit of an indifferent attitude, and it's also like 2 spikes, which makes him feel that his face is dull. Therefore, at the beginning of the metaphysical advancement, he made a strange addition to the 5 black martial artists to join the sword array, making the strength of these 5 people multiply. Kid, this is the end of the contempt for this seat. Want to go through the mysterious advancement, go back and practice. The nightmare is dark. He watched the battle and knew that Yi Yuan's defense circle was getting smaller and smaller, and he suffered more and more injuries. It is a matter of time before the defeat. However, the nightmare is also the tenaciousness of the heart and the darkness of the eye. It is possible to compete with the strength of the 4 elements and to contend with the 5 vitality to the present. This has to be said to be a miracle. There are countless geniuses that the nightmare has seen, but I have never seen a day to achieve this level. But, it's just that. Lin Tiancheng was sent out in frustration, and he failed again. This is the 5th time he has failed in the heavens. Lin Tiancheng was upset when he thought of the eyes that were ridiculed and playful. Lin Tiancheng is now a half-step spiritual environment, and it is a bit reluctant to fight against 5 Wuling liquid weapons. It's not that Lin Tiancheng's talent is not enough. He's not taking this last step, but he has been suppressing the realm in a half-step environment. At Danwu College, the lower the realm of passing the assessment, the younger the age, the greater the potential and the different emphasis on nature. If he breaks through the spirit, it is natural to defeat the 5 warriors. But in that case, he admitted in disguise that his potential has ended. Therefore, he has been enduring the eyes of others, and he wants to advance through the prefecture level with the strength of a half-step spirit. The top figures on Wubang, such as Longtang, Zuowigi, and Suyishan, all passed the prefecture level advanced assessment without exception. This also shows that these top geniuses have already had the strength to surpass the vitality when they are full of vitality. However, Lin Tiancheng, who is now a half-step spiritual environment, cannot pass the assessment at the prefecture level. This gap is clear at a glance. With an infinite decadence, Lin Tiancheng walked out of the magic tower. He made up his mind, and as long as he showed a scornful look, he would rush to the other side. At the gate of the magic tower, Lin Tiancheng swept through the sharp eyes and suddenly became a little dazed. No one was watching him. Everyone's eyes were on the light curtain, and some people's looks were a bit nervous. What happened? Lin Tiancheng also looked at the light curtain with the eyes of everyone, and did not see anything. There is no battle scene in the illusion tower on the light curtain, which can only show the state of everyone inside. What are you looking at? Lin Tiancheng asked one by hand. Ah, is Brother Lin, have you already come out? We are watching Yi Yuan. He is conducting an advanced evaluation of the mysterious machine, but it seems that he can't support it. The student did not seem to have much reaction to Lin Tiancheng. What? Zan advanced. This guy is too self-sufficient. With his strength, through the yellow level advanced or some reluctant, actually to challenge the meta level advanced. Lin Tiancheng first burst into a burst, then sneer. The student glanced at Lin Tiancheng. The eyes made Lin Tiancheng very uncomfortable. There was no seizure. The student then said, I'm afraid I don't know Lin's brother. Yi Yuan has already passed the yellow level assessment. He is getting started. In the advanced examination of the ranks in the yellow level, they are all spike opponents. Now the judging assessment, he has also insisted on a time of incense. Second, spike. Lin Tiancheng wondered if he had got it wrong, but the student had stopped paying attention to him and turned to look at the light curtain. Chapter 44 Zan Level Advanced Clearance. Oh, it seems that Yi Yuan has no hope of creating a miracle. But it is already very remarkable to be able to do this step. He is very talented. I have finally had a genius of 50 years in the Qin State Danwu Academy. Hu Yanyang looked at the light curtain on behalf of Yi Yuan's light is getting dim, and cannot help but regret it. However, he was also amused by himself. The strength of Yi Yuan's performance was already surprising enough. Let him challenge the metaphysical advancement with 4 strengths. It is somewhat reluctant. Through this assessment, Hu Yanyang believes that Yi Yuan only needs to break through the 6 vitality, no, as long as the 5 powered energy can advance through the mysterious level. Oh, no, Yi Yuan can't support it. Hey, he has no chance. Now it is estimated that he has been seriously injured. It is also worth his money. The miracle is not so good to create. But Yi Yuan is already very powerful. When the Dragon Brothers were about to break through the 7-fold strength, they passed the metaphysical advancement. Yi Yuan is now extremely powerful. Sisters, the ***** Lousy has been watching this for a long time, and the result is still lost. As the light on behalf of Yi Yuan became more and more dim, the onlookers also talked about it. Many people felt sorry for Yi Yuan's failure. Wang Yuan looked at the light curtain, and his mouth flashed a sneer. Here, the least hope that Yi Yuan passed the Zon level assessment is him. Do not be self-sufficient, but just broke through the 4 elements. You dare to challenge the advanced level. Do you think that the assessment of the students is not set? After watching it for so long, Wang Yuan has already known that Yi Yuan has broken through to the 4 elements of the vitality. After the shock, it is a deep sense of crisis. Now seeing that Yi Yuan is about to lose, the pressure of Wang Yuan's chest has finally loosened. Inside the magic tower, the nightmare looked at the battle group there, and always felt that something was wrong. By the way, Yi Yuan's defensive circle seems to have not shrunk for a while. How is this going? Yi Yuan Mingming has been scarred. Why can he still hold the last line of defense without collapse? Okay, he used a sword. The nightmare suddenly found a trace of anomaly. From the beginning of the entry, Yi Yuan did not use the broken sword. But now, Yi Yuan is actually using a sword. The nightmare remembers the dispensable attitude of Yi Yuan's choice of weapons at first, and thought that his sword was only used for decoration, and his real killing was the stack of waves. The nightmare naturally knows that the waves are in the palm of your hand, and Yi Yuan can understand that the 2 waves are already against the sky. It is because Yi Yuan has realized the double wave that he can easily advance through the yellow level. Therefore, the nightmare thought that the wave of the waves was the biggest card of Yi Yuan. He did not expect that Yi Yuan's swordsmanship was so superb. Yi Yuan is still on the defensive at this time, like a blade boat in the wind and rain, but he is stubbornly supporting, that is, not overturning. The nightmare also found that Yi Yuan had never been stabbed by the Black Warrior since he used the sword. The original impeccable sword array, at this time is actually a sign of some faint instability. Yi Yuan seems to be able to see through the weakness of the sword array. Although it is passive defense, the whole sword array is somewhat unstable between 1 stroke and 1 stroke. Could it be said that this leaf is still a master? The nightmare felt that her brain was not enough. Yi Yuan's selection of weapons will naturally not be untargeted. His previous life was indeed a sword master. Of course, this master is relative to the lower bound. In the domain of God, many people can abuse what he does not want. The set of swords that Yi Yuan used now is what he created when he was in the free time of the gods. At one time, he and a few friends sang in the Sakura forest, and saw the sacred petals of the sky fall, forming a rain. Yi Yuan watched the flower scene and realized that the grass created this set of sword skills, and named it as the falling flower and 0 sword. One of the friends at that time was the king of the sword, Wang Tianming, but the asterisk of the sword, the martial art was very good. Yi Yuan's set of falling flowers and swords was finished, and he was greatly admired by the king of swords. Wang Tianming said at the time, Qingyun brother is a great talent, and the sky is not as good. If this sword method can be perfected, it will surely dazzle the gods in the future. If Qingyun brother can be enchanted, the future achievements must be no less than Dandao. It is a pity that when Qingyunzi lacked interest in martial arts, it was only a matter of glory to create a falling sword. After the creation, he threw it aside and never used it again. Huang Tianming praised the falling flowers and the 0 sword. It is not that the sword method is really powerful. At that time, the Qingyunzi realm was high, but the aggression on the martial arts was limited. The meaning of Huang Tianming is that if Yi Yuan put his mind on the martial arts and constantly improve his understanding of the kendo, it would be a terrible sword to fall. The sword method is powerful, but Yi Yuan's realm at this time is too low. Without the support of Yuan Li, the power he can play is not even half. However, the falling flower and the 0 sword pay attention to the light and elegant, but it is very matched with the flash of the Yi Yuan transformation, and the power is multiplied. With the flash of the flash and the falling sword, the attack to defend the 5 is barely enough. The 5-man sword array seems to be infinitely powerful. In fact, it is a hole in Yi Yuan's eyes. What he needs now is an opportunity. This opportunity finally emerged with the help of his body and swordsmanship. These 5 people are not entities, so they work together seamlessly, but this set of swords is too simple, it is a bad injury. In this set of swords, Every 5 dozens of 5 people will come to a combined attack. This time, the combined attack power is very large. Before Yi Yuan, although he avoided the attack by his body, he was also seriously injured. However, this time, because of Yi Yuan's driving, one of the Black Warrior's movements was slow. Yi Yuan will not miss such a good opportunity. Before the arrival of the 5 people, the flash will be pushed to the extreme and the sword will be directly flashed. These 5 Black Warriors are not tireless at all. Yi Yuan has just left the war circle. They have put away the sword and once again set up a sword to attack. Yi Yuan will not give them the opportunity to get together. When he jumped out of the battle circle, he mobilized all the remaining forces and rushed to attack the past before the 5 men attacked. Stack waves, palms, 4 waves. 8 times the force suddenly broke out, and the palm of the hand was like a violent storm. The 5 Black Warriors flew out. Yi Yuan knew that it was not over yet, and mobilized a small amount of Yuan Li. A flash of lightning came to a Black Warrior, and a sword stabbed the heart. The Black Warrior broke his breath and disappeared. The power of this palm is big, but the gap between Yi Yuan and the Black Warrior is too big, so they can only seriously hurt them. According to the gourd painting, Yi Yuan gave the other 4 people a sword and ended the battle. After doing these things, Yi Yuan threw the sword and sat down on the floor with a big ass. The nightmare stared at it all, and couldn't believe what happened in front of him. Hey, is it necessary to recover my injuries? Then I will bleed too much and die. Can't you let me go this way? Yi Yuan sighed and shouted. Chapter 45 I am so surprised. Next level. The nightmare is completely circled, and Yi Yuan actually has to challenge the advanced level. Please, is there anything wrong? Zon Advanced has been so reluctant, but also to challenge the advanced level. Is this kid stupid? Do not know the difference between the spiritual environment and the spiritual environment. This is a big realm. Yi Yuan was so painful that he licked his teeth and screamed and said, I am XXX, give me a cure, what are you doing? If you don't cure me, you can commit suicide. Go back to the dean and complain to you. The nightmare is full of black lines, this kid is really the best. I really don't understand, Yi Yuan is a genius or a silly hat, how can he always speak silly? The qualification of the nightmare is older than the dean. Does the dean dare to take care of him? The nightmare was made by Yi Yuan, but he still treated him for the injury. The nightmare is lighter, and Yi Yuan is full of blood and resurrection. Feeling the power of the body, Yi Yuan smiled and said, hey, it's still good in a dream, and it can be resurrected by a heavy injury. The nightmare also returned to calm, watching Yi Yuan smile like a smile. How do you know that this is in a dream? I don't remember I said that we are in a dream. Also, do you know that I am who? Yi Yuan turned a blind eye and pretended to be stupid. Please, you are insulting my IQ. Not in a dream, how can I have a sword out of thin air? It is not in a dream, how the warriors will die when they die. As for you, are you not an examiner? You are still insulting my IQ. Also, why did you want to yin me? I want to complain to you. The nightmare knows that Yi Yuan is not true, but he is too lazy to be true. In any case, it is a good thing for Danwu College to have a talented student. Do you really have to challenge the advanced level? Do you think I am joking with you? Yi Yuan turned a blind eye. Well, there is a bit of courage. You have also felt it before. The pain here is connected with reality. Death here will not really die, but it will not be good. I said the examiner, can you not waste my precious time? I am very busy. Yi Yuan is impatient. Okay, as you wish. The nightmare smiled and summoned 5 black warriors again, and the 5 black warriors were awesome. The hull of the phantom has already boiled. How is it possible? Yi Yuan, he really did it. Hello, right, he just said that he was dying. How did he suddenly destroy his opponent? Yi Yuanjun has created a miracle. He should be the lowest level student in the realm since the founding of Danwu College. It's also the most talented. What happened to this guy? Did he pretend that the **** was pretending? I can't believe it. Witnessing such a historic moment, it is clear that many students feel and have a good time. However, they couldn't understand why Yi Yuan's progress was so fast. It was clearly the last of the whole hospital, but now it is flying to the sky and is promoted to a prefecture-level student. The miracle that happened to Yi Yuan is simply a model of ruthless counterattack. Such a counterattack can resonate with many students. These students are naturally geniuses if they are outside. However, at Danwu College, most of them are mediocre people. Yi Yuan's counterattacks undoubtedly aroused their fighting spirit. Hu Yangyang looked at the light curtain and said in his heart, "Is this kid playing with me? I actually succeeded at the last minute. It seems that he and Fei Qingping's life and death battle. I am afraid that even 30% of the strength is useless." What? Ma. Hu Yangyang is actually quite happy in the heart. With the potential of Yi Yuan, may there be strength in the future through the heavenly level. The most unhappy nature here is to Count Wan Yuan and Lu Ruoshui. Both of them have just passed the Zon level assessment, which means that Yi Yuan has threatened their strength now. Impossible. Half a month ago, Yi Yuan was still a heavy slag, and could threaten himself after half a month. What is your own hard work for so many years? Yi Yuan, this kid must be opportunistic and successful, and the real strength should not be so strong. It must be like this. Anyway, be sure to kill Yi Yuan as soon as possible. Wan Yuan did not want to wait for a moment. He could not wait to immediately call Su Yishan to destroy Yi Yuan. Having said that, he has made up his mind several times today to kill Yi Yuan, and this kind of thinking is stronger than once. When he first came, Wan Yuan did not take Yi Yuan seriously, but now he has deeply felt that Yi Yuan has stood in parallel with him. Think about Yi Yuan's tricks: a full-scale flash with a huge amount of lethality, a wave of waves, and a double day. Can you retreat? Wan Yuan couldn't help but shudder. Being able to defeat 5 people with 8 strengths means that Yi Yuan's attack power has already threatened him. Is there anything more terrible than this? Look, Yi Yuan challenged the advanced level. Scorpio, is he crazy? Really, this guy is really a madman. Even if he is going against the sky, can't he play 5 spirits? He is only 4. I have been numb by him. How can I play with him? Wan Yuan looked at the light curtain, and a heart could not help but squat again. This guy won't. As soon as the 5 black warriors appeared, Yi Yuan felt the pressure of a rushing sea, and he felt that he could not breathe. In such an assessment, these 5 people will not have any kindness, and they will be murderous. In the face of an opponent who is higher than himself, and still 5, Yi Yuan is a high morale. Let's come over. Yi Yuan screamed, his hands clenched into fists. The body of the whole body swayed, and a whirlwind was set up, which also led Yi Yuan's clothing angle. The nightmare looked at this scene and couldn't help but take a breath of air. He said to himself, "This kid has actually become an 8 wave, it is a terrible talent." Yi Yuan's current starting style is the wave of waves and waves. And Fei Qingping's life and death battle, everyone thought that Yi Yuan was late in the hard work of the 2 waves. In fact, he was practicing 8 waves. The 8 waves are also the last resort of the waves, and the martial arts on the incomplete jade is here. Even if there are only 8 waves, 16 times the force is enough to make Yi Yuan laugh and arrogant. 16 times the force is enough to compete with the big grade Yang fingers, and Yi Yuan's Yang fingers only reach the realm of Shaocheng. In other words, this stack of waves is the biggest card of Yi Yuan today. Unlike the coffers of the 8 powered warriors, the 5 warriors who are one of the spirits do not seem to be in a hurry. Instead, they wait for Yi Yuan to fully start the move. Yi Yuan knows that this is a nightmare intention. In the real life and death battle, who will give him such a long time to launch a big move? After the accumulation of power, the shape of the 5 black warriors finally moved. At the same time, Yi Yuan's power is also launched at the same time. Boom! The 2 sides violently collided together, and then Yi Yuan's consciousness gradually blurred. Sister, scared to death, I thought he could pass the advanced level, and finally got killed. Outside the magic tower, I don't know who said this sentence, telling everyone's voice. Chapter 46 Combat. It was finally killed. Yi Yuan, this guy is funny. It is obvious that he can retreat from the whole body, but he chooses this way to come out and scares me a big jump. Yeah, although it is in a dream, the feeling of death can be uncomfortable. Every time I am killed, I feel that I am really going to die. I am mad at the uncle. I thought he really has the strength to challenge the advanced level. Who knows that he was killed by the spike? Isn't that playing with us? Comma. The phrase, scared the baby, is like a bomb that detonates the quiet crowd. The innocent Yi Yuan still doesn't know that his actions have annoyed everyone and caused everyone's complaints. The key is that he used to hang everyone's appetite too high, and everyone who is harmlessly believes that he is still likely to pass. If Yi Yuan experienced a bitter battle, the reaction of the onlookers would not be so big, but who knows that he was spiked as soon as he came up, so that everyone was surprised. The gap between expectations and reality is too great, and it's no wonder that everyone has the feeling of being teased. Hu Yangyang also looked at the light curtain dumbly and laughed. Like the trainees, he was also mobilized by Yi Yuan. He thought that Yi Yuan really had any killer, and he could pass the advanced assessment at the prefecture level. Who knows that this guy is just an ignorant person who is fearless and sent himself to death. However, it can be advanced through the mysterious level and become the lowest age group in the realm of Danwu College. The strength of Yi Yuan has exceeded my imagination, Hu Yangyang said. He did not think that Yi Yuan was deliberately playing around with everyone. On the contrary, he felt that Yi Yuan's martial arts heart was very firm. When the average person faces a high-level opponent in his own realm, he will inevitably choose to give in, while Yi Yuan has chosen the challenge. His choice itself illustrates many problems. Of course, if he knows what Yi Yuan has done in the Magic Tower, he doesn't know what to think. In the Magic Tower, Yi Yuan has returned to reality. There are only 4 Nightmare and 4 other Black Warriors in the battlefield. The shock in the eyes of the Nightmare has not dissipated until now. Just now, Yi Yuan chose to confront the 5 black-clothed warriors. Yi Yuan naturally hangs under the powerful attack of the other side. However, in the last moment, Yi Yuan's 8 waves shot a black warrior and killed him. Although Yi Yuan will not really die in a dream, he is plausible, but he has actually killed a spiritual environment. In other words, Yi Yuan already has the strength to threaten the spirit of the environment. 4 strengths have the strength to threaten the spirit of the environment. Is this the Arabian Nights? The dream swallowed and felt that the whole world was not real. Hey, should I just kill one? Yi Yuan thoughtfully walked out of the magic tower and did not notice the strange eyes of everyone. He was still thinking about the attack with the 5 black warriors. Green Child is the first to rush to Yi Yuan. She has already passed the entry advanced assessment, has officially become a student of Danwu College. With the 3-pronged element through the entry-level assessment, the strength of the Green Child is naturally beyond doubt, and Hu Yangyang also noticed this inconspicuous little girl. Of course, the Green Child can pass the assessment, or because Yi Yuan passed her a very powerful martial art called Zan Bing Ju Shi. This set of martial arts is the famous martial arts of the King of Lingshe, and the power of the Green Children is endless. The Green Children practiced the top martial arts skills of the gods, and the leapfrog defeated the 5 elements of the 4 elements. Young Master, you are really powerful, actually passed the 3-level assessment. Greener pulled Yi Yuan's clothes corner proud. Seeing that Yi Yuan passed the assessment, Greener felt that he was more happy than he passed. Yi Yuan is a Green Child, smiled and said, "It is only a metaphysical assessment, there is no difficulty at all. If it is not the death examiner Yin I have already passed." The onlookers were once again thundered. This guy's strength in speaking big words is stronger than his own strength. I have just been abused, but now I am still bragging. The examiner of the Magic Tower has evaluated countless students and has always been very fair. How can it be a sinister student? Oh, anyway, the young master is the most powerful. Unfortunately, Big Brother has retired, otherwise he will be happy for the younger. After this period of accumulation, Tang Yu's realm has also been consolidated, and the first 2 days just closed the way to break through the 6 vitality. Yi Yuan gave Tang Yu a batch of super products, and it was only a matter of time to break through the 6 vitality. Oh, wait for Tang Yu to go out, he should also come to participate in the yellow level. Look at your appearance, should also pass the assessment. Yi Yuan laughed. Greener smiled and nodded. That is not thanks to the young master. Oh, what are you doing? Your strength is all made by yourself. If the master and the servant are next to each other, you will say one sentence to me. The attention of the original people was attracted by the light curtain, and did not notice that there was such a beautiful little girl in the crowd. Now she and Yi Yuan stood together, and suddenly attracted a lot of attention. Everyone found out that I didn't know when the students actually had such a beautiful girl. When it comes to appearance, the green child who has not yet fully opened is already better than the Lu Ruo water. The true temperament of the green child that day is not what Lu Ruoshui does not have. Seeing the eyes of everyone, Yi Yuan knew that after the green child, I would probably become the target of many students in the college. At this moment, a student came to Yi Yuan and the person who saw him immediately recognized the person coming. Look, isn't that a martial arts brother? He is a famous wushu in the college. He is ranked 15th in the list. Is he already staring at Yi Yuan? That Yi Yuan is terrible. Wu Luokan arched the archway toward Yi Yuan. Congratulations to Yi Shidi, who was promoted to the prefecture level, and fell to the next level. Yi Yuan is somewhat unclear, but he still returned a ceremony and smiled. Thank you for your brother. Yi Shidi's talent is superior. I think I will be advanced to the next level. At that time, I want to learn from Yi, and ask Yi Shidi not to quit. Although it was expected, the words of Wu Dust still caused a lot of commotion. Wu Luokan is a martial artist who likes to challenge the college's masters. People on the Wubang list feel that he has a headache. As a result of one heart, Wu's progress was very fast. It took only half a year to get into the 15th position of Wubang from the bottom of the heavens. Yi Yuan looked at the dust and suddenly laughed. Since the martial arts brother can see me, how can I not fight? Wu Dust was originally a bit serious. Now I really smiled and said, okay, it really is the most potential student in the college. If you encounter anything in the college in the future, you can come to me at any time. Ha ha, then thank you brother Wu. Yi Yuan laughed. Chapter 47 Get Angry. After Wu Chenchen left, many people came forward to congratulate Yi Yuan. After this assessment, the name of Yi Yuan's talent has been laid, and his status in the college will inevitably rise. It is still necessary to take advantage of the current and future Wubang masters. The 4 elements of the vitality have been able to kill 5 yuan and 8 strengths. This strength, once Yi Yuan breaks through the 7 vitality, what is the horror of strength? When it comes to the 7-fold strength, Yi Yuan really has the challenge to advance the level of strength is not necessarily. However, most of the greets who came up to say hello to Yi Yuan were heaven-level students. Those faculty members were destined to have no genius with Yi Yuan. Reaching out and not smiling people, for the guidance of these heaven-level students, he dealt with them one by one. There are some of these people who are experts in Wubang, and there is no harm in having a nod to them. Looking at Yi Yuan's right and left, Lin Tiancheng felt like eating flies. It's ridiculous that he still said that Yi Yuan was rubbish, but after an assessment, the situation changed suddenly. Yi Yuan turned out to be the scent of all the students of the heavens, and the genius in the eyes of all the students. And Lin Tiancheng, but still the mediocrity who struggled to advance to the heavens. Compared with Yi Yuan's assessment results, he is a complete waste. You can pass the Zon level assessment, and Yi Yuan will not be able to enter the heavens in the future. It is really a big laugh. Thinking of this, Lin Tiancheng sighed and disappeared into the crowd. Lin Shishong, what's wrong with you? How come some souls don't keep up? Lin Tiancheng was walking, and suddenly there was a crisp and moving voice behind him. Looking back, it is Wan Yuan and Lu Ruoshui that have been introduced from the crowd. Look, it's not the teacher of Feng Ruqing. What is she doing? Suddenly someone shouted in the crowd. It's really a Win teacher. She came over to me. Is it coming to me? Hey, what are you doing with me? One person was making a flower, and the back of the head immediately stunned and was pulled away. Stupid, how can the Win teacher come to you? Good dogs don't block, don't let go. Why can't you come to me? Maybe she knows that I am her loyal fan, and I am moved to find me after I am impressed. Quote. Everyone looked at him like a fool, and automatically separated a road to let the wind pass. If the wind passes through the crowd, I don't even see the fool. Well, green, we flash. Yi Yuan took the green and ran. Yi Yuan was still in the entertainment, and naturally he found that if the wind was fine, he immediately fled. Yi Yuan, if you dare to run again, you don't want to pass a homework. Feng Ruoqing saw Yi Yuan to run, and immediately shouted. This threat does not matter to Yi Yuan, he continues to run. Give me a stop. The onlookers collectively petrified. What happened? Fairy-like wind teacher, how does it seem to become a deserted woman at this time? Looking at Yi Yuan again, isn't it like a negative heart that is being caught by his wife? Obviously, if the wind is clear, it is specifically to find Yi Yuan, and Yi Yuan seems to be afraid of seeing the wind. Everyone can't help but guess what happened between the two men. Even Hu Yanyang, who has always been calm, has a curious light shining in his eyes. Obviously, like all the students, he wants to know what happened. Just now Yi Yuan passed the assessment, and many people looked into his eyes and turned into worship or envy. However, now, everyone is looking at Yi Yuan with a murderous eye. It seems that if they find that Yi Yuan really stunned the dream lovers of all the men of Danwu College, these students will definitely rush to tear Yi Yuan into pieces. The most painful thing in the world is that the goddess in the heart is jealous of other men, even if this man is the new genius of Danwu College. Yi Yuan provoked public anger. He wants to run, but he is blocked by a group of people. The station here was still a bit loose, but now it has come together in the same place, and does not give Yi Yuan a chance to escape. It is the effort of this meeting. The wind has been sunny and has come to Yi Yuan. Run, why don't you run? Feng Ruqing looked at Yi Yuan and angered. I don't want to run, I can't run. The wind teacher's appeal is too strong. Yi Yuan smiled bitterly. Why do you want to hide from me? If the wind is clear, the heart is slightly self-sufficient, but it is still a slap in the face. Where can I? The wind teacher is really too embarrassing me. Yi Yuan blinked and looked innocent. You still said no. What did you just run? I suddenly remembered something, just to go. Coincidence. It is a coincidence. Let's play with me. Go with me. Wind teacher, I really have something important to do. No matter what matters again. If you don't leave, I will use it. Can't I go with you? This is almost the same. In the eyes of everyone who is sluggish, if the wind is clear, Yi Yuan is gone. In fact, these days, the wind has been looking for Yi Yuan several times, but every time Yi Yuan is sleeping. There are green children blocking the car outside, and if the wind is sunny, it is not hard. These days, the pharmacology class, Yi Yuan did not come at once, and if the wind is too sunny, I can't find Yi Yuan. As for Yi Yuan, where is he interested in being an assistant? Those things that are playing in the wind, and playing with the children in his eyes are not too much. Let him be an assistant, isn't that a waste of time? Yi Yuan is now the most urgent thing to improve his strength. How can he do something to help a little girl? If the wind is clear, this Dan Dao strength, Yi Yuan is not qualified as an assistant. Actually let him be an assistant to him, is this not a joke? He only thought about getting rid of the wind as soon as possible. I didn't expect to feel a little bit of tolerance. So when he heard from the green child that the wind was coming to him, he made up his mind to play hide and seek with her. Who knows that this has only been hiding for a few days, and it has been caught by the wind. It is also a coincidence that Feng Ruqing did not know that Yi Yuan was here to participate in the assessment, but when passing by, he heard the students all gathered toward the magic tower. If the wind is sunny, there is something curious about what happened to the magic tower, so I stopped a student to inquire. Who knows that this inquiries is actually about Yi Yuan's news, and this news has brought her enough shock. Of course, she knows that Yi Yuan had just broken through the threefold vitality not long ago. In a few days, he actually broke through to the top 4. Breaking through the 4 elements of the vitality will be considered. Yi Yuan actually passed through the 3 levels and became a prefecture-level student, which gave her a great impact. I did not expect Yi Yuan's accomplishments on the martial arts to be so powerful. In the last pharmacology class, Yi Yuan's impression of the wind was very deep. A yellow-level student who was not even a Daniel was so familiar with Dan's second-order top-level product. He also knew the partial door refining technique of yin-yang shunting, so he moved his mind to let him be an assistant. Who knows, Yi Yuan, this guy actually hides from her. I never know what the refusal is. If the weather becomes more obsessive, I must arrest Yi Yuan as an assistant. Chapter 48 I Want You. I am going crazy. What happened between the wind teacher and Yi Yuan? Yeah, their conversations are unclear. I only know one to run, one to chase. Scorpio. My goddess. If Yi Yuan dares to do something, I must kill him. Yes, you must know what happened. If Yi Yuan really did something that people and gods are angry with, we must eradicate this abominable guy. There is only one conversation between Yi Yuan and Feng Ruoqing that only two people can understand, making everyone crazy. Under such circumstances, the Qingqing Alliance was formally established. There are two main tasks of this alliance. One is to find out what happened between Yi Yuan and Feng Ruoqing. The second task is to build on the first task. Once you find out what Yi Yuan really did, they are determined to kill Yi Yuan, and then see at once. Let him regret what he has done in his life. Yi Yuan is even more powerful, but he has just entered the prefecture level. The students at the prefecture level have caught a lot, and some are far better than Yi Yuan. Of course, some people think of the pharmacology class that day, but the wind teacher just let Yi Yuan go to be an assistant, not to make it like this. And when the assistant of the wind teacher is a very beautiful beauty, how can it evolve into a drama that is popular in the public? After understanding the situation, the Qingqing Alliance filtered out the possibility, and they thought that something else must have happened between the two. At the same time, the speculation between Feng Ruoqing and Yi Yuan evolved into various versions, which spread among the students and even teachers of Danwu College. Of course, this is a later story. What Yi Yuan thinks now is how to get rid of this entangled wind as soon as possible. Yi Yuan can see at a glance that this wind is really like alchemy because she used to be a kind of person. Such a person is very difficult. Once she meets something interesting on Dandao, she will be like a curious baby, and she must be able to understand it before she is willing. The current wind is as clear as this. She is eyeing Yi Yuan, because she feels that Yi Yuan can help her refine the second-order return gas, so that she can break through to the senior Dan teacher. However, Yi Yuan really does not want to waste too much time on this. On the one hand, if Yi Yuan teaches the wind to be sunny, she may become more and more entangled in herself. On the other hand, the students taught the teaching, which is a bit too horrible and may cause unnecessary trouble. Yi Yuan walked in front, and the wind followed the clear, staring at Yi Yuan's every move to prevent him from running away. Yi Yuan has some headaches, it seems that today can't escape. Feng teacher, so smart. At this moment, a man dressed in a yellow robe blocked the way of the two, and greeted the wind with enthusiasm. Yi Yuan didn't know this person, but from his clothes, he was actually a teacher at Danwu College. I have seen Song Qian brother. Feng Ruoqing slightly frowned, but still greeted. Yi Yuan was on the side of the abdomen. This Song Qian saw the wind and the sun cleared his eyes, and his eyes did not look at himself. It was obviously a fanatic pursuit of the wind. However, the age of Song Qian 26 is also considered a young talent in the teaching of the college. It's a pity that she didn't catch a cold with this guy. Such a woman who is obsessed with Dandao, I am afraid that not the average man can conquer it. Look at Song Qian's appearance, but also ready to enter the alchemy room. Yi Yuan guessed that this Song Qian would not have known that the wind would come here, so I was waiting here early this morning. The wind teacher went to Danfang Alchemy again. Song Qian asked nonsense. Yes, the wind faintly replied. The wind teacher is really diligent. However, here is the alchemy room for teaching. Does the wind teacher bring this student? After listening to Song Qian's words, Yi Yuan couldn't help but turn a blind eye. He dared to see this guy. He once thought he was air in the other's eyes. Yi Yuan is the assistant I am looking for. Assistant. Song Qian only looked at the eye, and frowned. If I am not mistaken, he is not even Dan, how can he be an assistant to the wind teacher? Song is not a talent, ask himself to the wind teacher. An assistant is still enough. Song Qian can see at a glance that Yi Yuanlian is not the only one, because the level of refining pharmacists will wear the badge issued by the Refining Pharmacists Union, which is the symbol of the identity of the refining pharmacist. Song Qian and the windy sunny chest are wearing a badge with two bright eyes and stars, which represents the identity of the second-order refining pharmacist Dan Shi. The domain also has a refining pharmacists union, but the previous generations of Zhengyongzi and Qingyunzi did not have such a badge, because they never participated in the assessment of the refining pharmacists union. However, this pair of fathers and sons in the domain of the gods has never dared to despise, because their Dandao rumors, then the president of the refining pharmacists union, Yeji also did not give up. At this time, Yi Yuan did not have any time to cherish the past life. Song Qian's words made him shine. If the wind is clear, I want to speak. Yi Yuan is rushing to say in front. Yes, yeah, Feng teacher, I don't even have Dan, how can I help you? Song teacher is a talent, Dan teacher, he is coming. Can you help me with any medicinal herbs? If so, there is nothing wrong with me here, I will leave first. When Yi Yuan spoke, Song Qian looked at him with approval. He said that this kid is on the road. Later, he can carry more and carry it. Wind teacher, look, if the wind is clear, I will not look at Song Qian. I just suddenly found a claw and grabbed it toward Yi Yuan. If there is nothing, the Yuan Li filament will be wrapped around Yi Yuan's ankle. If there are students who have watched Yi Yuansheng's death battle here, they will be able to find out that Feng Qingping's trick is exactly what Fei Qingping used to play at the time. It's just the same move, and the power in the hands of the wind is not the same. Yi Yuan had just slipped away after saying it. Just 2 steps away, he felt that his right foot was like a lead, and the whole person fell to the ground because of inertia. Ouch! Yi Yuan mourned on the ground. The gap between the two was too great, and if the wind did not move, he would be put down. Putting down the leaves, if the wind is clear, the first 2 steps, passed by Song Qian, did not look at him. When I came to Yi Yuan, the wind frowned and said, Are you a man? Why don't you count if you said it? I don't need other people to be assistants, I want you. If you flee, I don't mind telling the dean, delisting you from Danwu College. If you want to come to me, it will be the starting point. In this case, Yi Yuan suddenly lost his temper. In the world of revision, it is an indisputable fact that Zongmen disciples are stronger than scattered. As the outer gate of the Union sect, Danwu College has gathered almost all the top geniuses, and there is no place better than honing itself. Yi Yuan is not interested in the resources of Danwu College, but he is still interested in the geniuses here. Seeing that Yi Yuan has finally served, the wind has a thrill of conquest, and finally he has taken this kid. She turned to Song Qiandao. Thank you for the kindness of Teacher Song, but Yi Yuan is my assistant. It is enough for Mr. Song to be a rising star of Danwu College. There must be a lot of things to do, and it will not delay your time. Yi Yuan, let's go. Yi Yuan sighed, and he walked behind the wind. Although there is no turning back, Yi Yuan clearly feels that there is a bad eye behind him. Chapter 49 Refining the Drug Embryo. At Danwu College, Dandao has its own alchemy room, and the wind is no exception. The arrangement of the alchemy room in the wind is very delicate, and the various herbs are divided into categories, and the packing is very appropriate. The center of Danfang is a red medicine tripod. With Yi Yuan's eyesight, it is natural to see that this medicine tripod is the second-order best. In the Danshi of Danwu College, I am afraid there will be no better than this, but this way the medicine ding is worthless in his eyes. Yi Yuan snorted and found a place to sit down. This scene happened to fall in the eyes of the wind, and suddenly made her feel a little uncomfortable. You seem to be very invisible to my red lotus tripod. Ah, what about this trip? Yes, haha. At first glance, there is no sincerity. Have you seen a better second-order medicine trip? Haha. I am a student who is not even Danish. Where have you seen such a high-level medicine trip? Called Honglian Ding. Good name, good name. Yi Yuan did not think that he was only subconsciously ignoring the drug tripod, but it was even a series of forced questions by the wind, and had to be perfunctory. However, such a drug tripod he really does not look at. In the past life, such a drug trip to him is a kettle he is too lazy to use. If someone used to say that her medicine was not good, the wind would be sure to turn her face immediately, but Yi Yuan gave him an unusual feeling. The tip of the iceberg that Yi Yuan showed in the pharmacology class has exceeded the scope of Danwu College students. Even if Dan is the first, I am afraid that it is impossible to know how to use the yin and yang shunt to refine the second-order return gas. Dan Feng can also be said to have happened to see, but the yin and yang shunt is not something that ordinary people can know. Even if the weather is fine, I have only seen this refining technique in a very unpopular book. She was a treasure at that time. She had practiced this refining technique madly for a while, but she still had to give up. This refining method is too difficult. It is precisely because of this that Feng Ruqing is very interested in Yi Yuan. Let him be his assistant. I didn't expect this guy to actually appreciate it, and to hide from himself 3 times and 5 times. This made the arrogant winds clear and maddening, and today's move. Moreover, although Yi Yuan is very perfunctory to her, she has despised herself several times, but I don't know why. Feng Ruoqing always feels that Yi Yuan's contempt is a natural expression of the heart, not a pretense. Just like just now, Feng Ruoqing has been very confident about his Honglian Ding. Almost every refining pharmacist who came to her alchemy room will be shocked by this trip, but Yi Yuan is just a grin, a very disdainful look. Feng Ruoqing did not see even a trace of surprise from Yi Yuan's eyes. It's hard to be. Yi Yuan really will yin and yang shunt. How is it possible that Feng Ruqing was shocked by his own thoughts? If the wind is sunny, practice yin and yang shunting. Know the difficulty of this refining technique. Yi Yuankai is 15 years old. How could this refining technique be used? I am letting you come as an assistant. It is not for you to be a grandfather. What are you doing while sitting there? Don't come over and give me medicine. The wind is cold and cold. Oh, this is coming, this is coming. Yi Yuan Far turned to the console, which was filled with various herbs. He glanced at the medicinal materials and curiously said, "You don't want to practice second-order qi, Dan, how to prepare first-order materials." There was a faint blush on the face of the wind, and then he angered. "Let you dispense the medicine, you will dispense the medicine, how many problems?" Yi Yuanming's mind suddenly became clear. It turned out that this woman's yin and yang shunting was still not closed. This is to take a first-class remedy to practice. However, this yin and yang shunt cannot be practiced in a day or two. Take a first-class medicinal medicine to practice. What time should I accompany her? My own time is very valuable, but I have no time to accompany this woman to alchemy. Yi Yuan sighed and had to turn his head to dispense medicine. If the wind turns to the quiet room, the mood will be adjusted. Alchemy is a very complicated study. When you are alchemy, you can't be distracted. You have to do it all at once. A little bit of small fluctuations may affect the quality of the drug and even make it into a waste. Therefore, before alchemy, the vast number of refining pharmacists will meditate and adjust their mentality to the ancient wells, and dare to start alchemy. However, the wind has just been adjusted, and when it is not fully settled, the door of the quiet room is ringing. Feng Ruoqing is really a fire this time. I am an assistant to myself, but every man in the college grabs the difference. Yi Yuan has repeatedly avoided himself for 5 times. Now he is an assistant, and he is not good at working and dare to mess. If there is no reason to say it right, be sure to smash this guy and tie it to the public for 3 days. The door slammed open, revealing the face of the wind that was full of anger. Oh, I can't think of the wind teacher opening the door so hot and scared me. Yi Yuan was shocked. If the wind is clear and leaves Yi Yuan, lift the right palm, and the silk force will flow in the palm of the hand, and it will be shot at any time. Let you dispense medicine. What are you doing? Don't you know that I am entering? If there is no reason to say it, this one is born to you. Don't. Wind teacher, you said that you have a tendency to violence. I originally copied 100 copies of the Materia Medica, and did not come to be your assistant. The medicine has been matched, and I have even reconstituted both medicines. I came over to call you. I didn't expect you to be in this position for so long. Yi Yuan jumped out of the distance and shouted. What? Is the medicine embryo refining? If the wind is clear, the brain will not turn, and she will only have half a quarter of an hour before and after entering the quiet room. Yi Yuan not only mixes so many herbs, but also the medicine embryos are refining. How can this be? Yeah, is this reason justified? I don't want to be killed. Yi Yuan said. If the wind is sunny, put down the palm of your hand and sing a cold voice. Hey, if I find that you are swearing, it is not as simple as a palm. After that, the wind went to the front of the console and suddenly stopped. In the jade utensils, 2 medicine embryos lay quietly. The color is very pure, obviously the refinement is very in place, and the useless dregs are completely removed. Feng Ruqing looked at Yi Yuan and opened his mouth, but did not say anything. What do you want to say to the wind teacher? Can't you kill me? Big deal. Next time I will call you later. How long does it usually take you to settle? Yi Yuan said innocently. If the wind is clear. For a long time. If the wind is sunny. I took a deep breath and asked Yi Yuandao, is this your medicine? Yi Yuan looked around and curiously said, is there anyone else here? But how are you so fast? The ordinary Dantu, it takes half an hour to dispense the medicine, plus the refining of the medicine embryo, at least 1 hour. Dispensing is not simply to match the herbs together, but to accurately weigh, quantify, and not to make a mistake. Therefore, the assistants of the refining pharmacists will be careful and spend a lot of time. Even if the wind is clear, she has to refine the medicine of the first-order medicinal herbs, and it takes more than half an hour. But Yi Yuan only spent a quarter of an hour. This is really shocking. Don't you refine the medicine of the first-order medicinal herbs? What are the simple things to spend so much time? Yi Yuan said very irresponsibly. Chapter 50. Left hand draws a circle, right hand draws a square. To say that practicing martial arts, Yi Yuan may also be modest. But alchemy, Yi Yuan really does not know how to be modest. It can be said that Yi Yuan's entire life was dealing with alchemy, and he was too familiar with medicinal herbs and medicinal herbs. That familiarity is in the soul. Even if he changes his body, the familiarity from the soul can also drive the whole body to make the most appropriate move. Yi Yuan also thought about a low-key one, but when he came across those medicines, he could not help but complete the medicine and refine the medicine. Others may be wary of the weight of the medicinal materials, and dare not have the slightest omission. However, as long as Yi Yuan grabs it, the weight of the medicinal material must be no different. That is the ability brought by hundreds of millions of operations. No one can follow suit. If the wind is clear and staring at Yi Yuan, I don't know what to say. Refining the first-order remedy, you can. Is it so simple? You are free. I went to the quiet room. After that, the wind turned sunny and turned into the quiet room again. This entry is 2 hours, much longer than originally planned. If the wind is sunny and somewhat messy, I don't know how long it will take to settle. After an hour, she barely removes the distracting thoughts and enters a state of emptiness. From the quiet room, if the wind is clear and restores the attitude of high cold, before coming to Honglian Ding, faintly said, take the medicine embryo, open the furnace, alchemy. Yi Yuan was not wasted at these 2 times and has been meditating. Compared with the previous life, Yi Yuan is now working hard too much. Yi Yuan, who has achieved dandy, knows that there is no shortcut to cultivation. Even if the talent is good, only diligence and diligence. After listening to the wind, Qing said that Yi Yuan took 2 jade vessels containing the medicine embryo and handed it to her, and then prepared to start the fire. If the wind is sunny, she looks at Yi Yuan with a strange look. She was originally prepared to open her mouth to tell Yi Yuan to do things. Who knows that Yi Yuan has done a good job of helping the assistants to do things. The alchemy room of Danwu College is built on the ground and guides the fire to alchemy. This method of alchemy is only applicable at low levels, and high-ranking remedies must use the source of fire. However, for this alchemy method, Yi Yuan is not unfamiliar. Open the fire valve, the blazing flame emerged from the ground, and the temperature in the alchemy room suddenly increased. Although the fire is not as good as the fire of the heavens and the earth, it is also unusual in the fire. It is too much to use it to refine the first-class medicinal herbs. Yi Yuan's hands quickly smashed, and then gently dialed on the flame. The flame immediately became like a baby, becoming docile. Then, Yi Yuan took a hand and said, don't. The fire was automatically divided into 2 halves, and the 2 sides of the red lotus furnace were evenly burned. If the wind is clear, watching this scene, the eyes flashed again with a touch of surprise. This kind of fire control method is unheard of. The ground fire is violent, and the college has added a layered array to it to be able to use it. Even so, this flame is not easily controlled by the general 4. However, this fire in front of Yi Yuan, like a pet raised by his own family, let it stand without it. However, now that I have entered the process of alchemy, if the wind is not clear, I will quickly converge. I saw that the wind was clear and single-handed, and a finger on the red lotus furnace, the cover automatically flew out. With her other hand reaching for a stroke, the two medicine embryos flew into the Dan furnace. Yin and Yang shunt. Kai. If the wind is clear and light, two jade hands move like a phantom. Now there is no such thing as Yi Yuan. He is so eager to see the wind and the sun change the imprinting quenching medicine embryo, and cannot help but slightly nod. This woman is still somewhat level. It seems that there is no small effort in the yin and yang shunt. However, her yin and yang shunting technique was not fully practiced. At this time, it was somewhat reluctant to do so. It seems that this medicinal herb was abolished. The yin and yang shunting is not so easy to practice. In the process of refining, the refining pharmacist needs to use one heart and one mind, one hand to urge the positive imprint, one hand to urge the negative imprint, and to be carried out simultaneously, without any mistake. Any omission in the middle will cause the remedy to become a waste. This has a very high test for the refining pharmacist's heart, soul and familiarity. Feng Ruoqing began to do a good job, but by the middle of the refining process, it was obviously not enough, and the fine sweat on the forehead began to look very hard. Hu! A burst of black smoke came. Waste Dan. If the wind is clear, it will scream at Yi Yuan, come back. Yi Yuan glanced at the wind, but did not speak, went directly to the medicine. This time, the wind finally saw how Yi Yuan was dispensing medicine, and then the whole person was speechless. Yi Yuan grabbed a handful of this medicinal material, grabbed a handful of that medicinal material, and then smashed it into a jade ware, which seemed irresponsible. However, if the wind is clear, it is impossible to open up, because she knows that the medicine embryo extracted by Yi Yuan, both in quality and precision, is much stronger than her own. How did this guy do it? Is his hand a gauge? How does he know that there are so many medicines? Yi Yuan's dispensing is too casual. Seeing the wind and clear eyes, Yi Yuan coughed, and smiled and said, "This, family learning, you also know that my father is a great Dan, forced from childhood, ha, ha. If the wind is clear, Yi Yuan has a look, I believe you are strange." However, she also knows that Yi Yuan can't tell her the truth, and asks questions. After half a quarter of an hour, Yi Yuan made the medicine embryo again. If the wind swallowed a second-order return gas, and meditation for a while, Yuanli will recover almost. The leaves in this scene are far and dark. What is the wind in the end? The second-order return gas Dan can't really count anything in Yi Yuan's eyes, but it is not a big road in Qin, and the price is very expensive. If the wind is clear, take out a swallow and keep your eyes open. There is also the Honglian Ding, which is definitely the top drug in the Qin dynasty. The average person can't get it. It seems that there is a strong backing behind this wind teacher. The second practice of yin and yang shunt, the outcome is still natural failure. Then there was the third and fourth time, and there was no success. Basically, in the late stage of alchemy, the drug embryo will turn into a black smoke and become a waste Dan. The wind is getting more and more frustrated, and she actually knows that she can stay in the later stage, or because of Yi Yuan's refining of the drug embryo and the result of the fire control, otherwise she may not even be able to support it later. How should this ***** yin and yang shunt be made? Come on again. Although there is a second order return to Dan, the strength of the alchemy in one day, the wind is clear, but it has been unable to stand up. Yi Yuan looked at the wind and looked at the wind, and there was some tangling in his heart. See what? I don't want to dispense medicine. Yi Yuan did not go to the medicine, but sighed and went to the table to pick up a piece of paper and 2 pens. If the wind is sunny, some curious leaves Yi Yuan take the paper pen to do something, so he followed. However, I saw Yi Yuan's left and right hands each took a pen, and then 2 hands simultaneously painted 2 shapes on the paper. The left hand painted the circle and the right hand painted the square. Don't practice, you can't succeed in practice like this. Let's talk about it. After that, Yi Yuan handed the 2 pens to the wind. Chapter 51 Popular. As this practice. What is the use of this practice? Yi Yuan shrugged and shrugged. You love to practice and practice. If you practice yin and yang shunting in this way, you might as well try to improve the directness of the soul. The challenge of this kind of thing is not so fun. Hey, what's the problem with this? I will show it to you now. The wind is not clear. As she said, she pushed open Yi Yuan and drew it on paper. But she painted and painted, the right hand became a circle, and it was still a circle that was not like 4. I still don't believe it. If the wind is sunny and then painted, she tries to draw the right hand into a square. As a result, the right hand is painted and the left hand is turned into a square. A few times down, the wind was completely defeated. How is this so difficult? No painting. If the wind is so sunny, throwing the pen aside, like a little girl's pie, how can there be a style of high cold female teaching? Because it is difficult. Let you draw, practice it well, wait for you to practice this, not far from the introduction of yin and yang shunt. Well, I have already taught you the secret. I will not be an assistant in these few days. Let me go first. Stand up. Do you think that if you get this thing out, you want to fool me? If you dare to go out today, I will let the dean expel you. Don't believe you, try it. Yi Yuan is unclear and gets a thing out, saying that he can practice yin and yang shunting. Is this looking for her IQ? Aunt, who are you quarreling with? At this moment, a woman in a white uniform took the door. The coming person is also a stunning woman. The watery spirit of the Danfeng eye is like a new moon, the slim waist is as thin as boneless. A blue silk shawl, carrying a sword, coupled with a white military uniform, looks very heroic. Look closely, this woman is quite similar to the wind and the eyebrows, no wonder she is called Aunt. It's just that the age difference between the aunts is too small, and it looks like a sister. Yi Yuan had never seen this woman, but he quickly guessed who the white woman was. The most popular teaching of Danwu College is the wind, and the most popular female students are popular. A woman with a wind name that can be so beautiful, who is not a fan? It's just that Yi Yuan didn't contact the two people before, and I don't know if they are aunt. The wind saw Yi Yuan, and looked at the clothes. Some of the winds were not clear. I couldn't help but sigh a little, and immediately angered. You dare to lighten my aunt, see me not to teach you. After that, it is not to be explained by Yi Yuan. A sword that is as fast as lightning has already reached Yi Yuan's chest. Yi Yuan didn't think that this woman was so unreasonable, and she was hurt by the indiscriminate use of the sword. He has a heart to dodge, but he is so popular that it is the third in Wubang. It is not the character of Yi Yuanong. Locked by the wind and sword, Yi Yuan was unable to move, and even the flash was delayed. This is a sword of death. This change is too sudden. It is obviously not reflected in the wind and there is no response. It is too late to rescue. Ah, the wind screamed and closed his eyes. At the critical moment, Yi Yuan couldn't take care of the Tibetan Mastiff. Dang, slammed, followed by the sound of Zhongfeng scratching the skin. Yi Yuan pointed out that the flash was running to the extreme, and the danger was avoided. Even so, he was injured and was cut by the sword to the right arm. Stop. Feng Ruoqing was shocked by the act of the wind, and quickly stopped. She had just stopped it, but it has been much slower. After practicing the yin and yang shunts for such a long time, now both Yuan Li and Xin Li have already reached the point of exhaustion. Where can I stop the wind blow? Seeing the windy sword straight into the chest of the far away, the wind and the heart of the heart all mentioned the eyes of the blind, who knows that Yi Yuan miraculously escaped the fatal blow. The wind did not expect that this sword was actually avoided by Yi Yuan. She saw the strength of Yi Yuan at a glance, but she was only 4 elements, and she was able to avoid her sword. Although this sword is not full of strength, only 30% of the strength, but even the strength of 30%, it should not be a vitality can be avoided. Especially when Yi Yuan's finger was just a shock, she was numb, how could this be? Hey, what are you doing? The wind is clear and angry. It was only after the wind that I realized that it was like a disaster. I spit out my playful manner. You are a lonely man and a woman in a room. I saw that you lost your temper and were not well dressed. I thought. Feng Ruoqing was flushed by her face and said, you no longer talk nonsense, see that I don't tear your mouth. We have been alchemy just now, Yi Yuan is the assistant I invited. What is your messy temper? Can you change it at a time? Otherwise, it will happen sooner or later. The wind screamed and sweared. Aunt, I am not wrong yet. I will not dare next time. Don't you apologize to Yi Yuan. The wind has not apologized, Yi Yuan first broke out. He is really fed up today. After being caught by the wind, the ducks were put on the shelves, and they were forced to be the bird assistants. As a result, if the wind was clear, he could not stand it. If you teach your own style, if you are clear and single-minded, the woman will not be grateful, but she will not be reluctant. Now I have found a very unreasonable style, almost a sword for his life. Yi Yuan's life is hard to come by, and it would be fun if he died again. Do you apologize? I am really fed up with your aunt. A stalker, a pretty unreasonable. I am kind enough to help, and I almost lost my life. Who am I provoking? Xiao Yi, you are not immune to this suffocation anymore. If the wind is fine, you will be expelled from me if you have the ability. If you don't stay here, you will leave your place. Let's say goodbye. After that, Yi Yuan strode away from the door. The wind was originally prepared to apologize, but was robbed by Yi Yuan, and he could not help but anger. Who is this? My temper is so big. I just didn't figure out the situation, but he was not only slightly injured. Feng Ruoqing did not stop Yi Yuan this time, but he heard the wind screaming and complained, and could not help but anger. You still said. The sword you just had almost killed his life, actually still so confident. The emperor really put you or spoiled. This time I will go to the emperor's inferiority in the college, let him ban your feet. When the wind slammed the forbidden foot, he immediately grabbed the wind and the clear arm and said, Good aunt, I am wrong, I really know it wrong. You must not make a small report to the father, people do not want to be every day. Stay in the palace. Hey, I don't want to be forbidden. You go back and apologize to Yi Yuan. Remember, it is an apology. If Yi Yuan does not accept an apology, you will wait for the ban, I will tell you everything. Brother, the wind is still sunny and now I am afraid of it. If Yi Yuan was really killed by the wind, she would have to live in her life. Chapter 52 Apologize. Okay, people are gone. I must admit the mistake to the guy, let him not remember the villain, let's go. There was no way for the wind, and he had to agree. This is almost the same. Right, how come you suddenly come to me? This prostitute has always been hiding in the college, and it is definitely something to look for today. Oh, you don't say that I have forgotten, it's all you fight. The wind made a sudden look. Quote. Actually, I came to say goodbye to you. I have to go back to the Imperial City to participate in the Dan teacher assessment 5 days later. When I pass the assessment, I will be the same as you. As you are, still Dan Shi. Let me pass it. Feng Ruoqing did not hesitate to attack the road. The advancement of the refining pharmacist is completely different from that of the martial arts. If you want to advance to the Dan division, the first condition is to enter the spirit environment. However, this does not mean that the advanced spirit environment can become a Dan teacher. The wind has long been a spiritual environment, but it has never passed the assessment of Dan Shi, and she is still the top 3 in Danbang, which shows that the rare and status of Dan Shi is respected. The wind whispered, Where is your aunt like this? Actually cursing your own prostitute cannot pass the assessment. If the wind is clear, but she doesn't care about her, Shen said, Hey, is it a collective assessment? I don't know how far Yi Yuan can do. At his level, there should be no problem with the senior Dantu. Hey, tomorrow I come with you to visit Yi Yuan, I want him to go with you to participate in the refining pharmacist assessment. Hey, my aunt, you still have nothing to say to him. It's Yi Yuan's mouth. The wind sneered. Dead easy, it seems that you really owe it. The wind is clear and shy, and the aunts twisted together. After a while, the wind suddenly remembered something and said, Yi Yuan, suddenly found this name is very familiar. Right, is that Yi Yuan who fights with people? You only reacted. He is a popular figure in the recent college. You still don't know. Just this morning, he even smashed the 3 levels, and he was a top-level student with a 4-prong training. Hey, soon in the future, he may become your strong opponent. The wind opened his mouth and was surprised. He is so powerful. It seems that we have been quiet for a long time in Qin State Danwu Academy. This time it has finally become a bit interesting. After the wind vanished, the wind and the ghosts made the gods pick up 2 more pens, and began to work hard to draw a square on the paper, over and over again. The next day, if the wind and the Qing dynasty, the 2 of them came to Yi Yuan's residence, they were stopped by the green children. Sorry for the 2, our young master is recovering from the injury, saying that no one is seen. Green said faintly. The wind immediately ignited. Hey, didn't he suffer a slight injury? My aunt and I both apologized. What did he think? Green is cute, but it involves the young master, she is also unambiguous. Yesterday, the young master was injured. She was distressed for a long time. Now she is not only sincere, she is still arrogant, she naturally does not have to be polite. Slightly hurt, I don't understand. You obviously hurt people. You are also arrogant at the door of others. Who is this to teach you? Your apology is too precious. Keep it, our family. The young master can't accept it. I just ask you to stay away from our young master. Don't send it. Greener went directly to the order. The winds still have to refute, but they have been blocked by the wind. This girl is not enough to make a mistake. Green girl, we are not right, you don't want to be angry. In fact, this girl has no bad feelings, but is straightforward, and often acts recklessly, so that your young master is injured. Her heart is actually very guilty, that is, it is not forgiving. You must never rebel with her. We come to your young master to apologize, and there is something to find him, let us go in. If the wind is clear, it is sincere. Just then, the sound of the inside of the house came. Green, tell them, just say I am not here. The 3 people outside the house were speechless. The wind was irritated by Yi Yuan's attitude, and he rushed in to remove Yi Yuan's 8 pieces, but he was pulled by the wind. If you want to mess up again, just wait for you to go back to the ban. If the wind is cold, it is obviously a little angry by this niece. The wind blew without temper, and if the wind was clear, he shouted to the inside of the house. Yi Yuan, yesterday is not awkward, I apologize to you for her. And me, I apologize to you for yesterday's attitude. I won't force you to be my assistant in the future, can't you? Squeak. The door opened and Yi Yuan was thrown out. This is what you said. Good girl, a quick whip. You can't go back. Yi Yuan is flying at this time, where is the half-injured look? Yi Yuan, you. Feng Yan saw Yi Yuan, and he wished that the sword would kill him again, but he was blocked by the wind. What do I want? I don't think you are a master of Wubang. I am afraid of you. When I break through the spiritual environment, one hand will kill you. Yi Yuan is very upset about this woman. The legendary style is very cold, and no one cares about anyone. Who knows yesterday, but it is a complete madman. Yi Yuan walked again in the ghost gate and watched her be cool. Aunt, you let me go, I want to kill him, see what he takes to break through the spiritual environment. The wind is struggling desperately, but always breaks away. Well, you give me a stop. You dare to try it. Feng Ruoqing really let go of the wind, but her words let the wind stop. Yi Yuan, I want you not to force me to be my assistant, but you have to promise me a condition. If you can do it, I will let you go. The wind is faint. Upon hearing this, Yi Yuan was instinctively alert. This woman seems to be gentle, but in fact, the bones are as unreasonable as the wind. I have set a set for myself before, and now it is difficult to guarantee that it is not another trap. You talk about something first. Don't force me, big deal, I will continue to return to the imperial city to be my sister-in-law. Yi Yuan said very bachelor. However, it seems that the wind does not care, but instead smiles. After 4 days, the college will organize students to go to the Imperial City Refining Pharmacists Union to participate in the collective assessment. I hope that you will go to the assessment with you. Refining Pharmacist Assessment. Yi Yuani, I did not expect Feng Ruoqing to make such a request. There is nothing to participate in the assessment, but he instinctively has some resistance to the Refining Pharmacy Union. In his previous life, his relationship with his father and the Refining Pharmacists Union had been bad, and he was dismissed as a heterogeneous by all the refining pharmacists. Now let Yi Yuan go to the assessment, he always feels weird. Yes, I want you to go to the Dansho assessment of the Refining Pharmacists Union, and you have to go all out. Don't tell me, you can't even test a Danster. Feng Ruoking now knows that Yi Yuan's level is definitely much higher than that of Dan, but it is limited to strength, and it is impossible to refine high-grade medicinal herbs. However, with Yi Yuan's strength of Dan Dao, it's not like playing a testimony. Yi Yuan did not immediately answer the wind, but instead meditated for a moment, and finally nodded. Well, I will go. Chapter 53 Drunk Star House. Dean, this talent shown by Yi Yuan is really amazing. I think the college should cultivate it well. After half a year, we can make a 10-nation ratio. We have lost many years. If this is the last 3, this old face really has no place to stop. In a loft in the depths of Danwu College, Hu Yanyang respectfully stood in front of a middle-aged man. And this person is the dean of the Qin State Danwu Academy, Zhang Yunhe, the important figure of the whole Qin State. His position in the Qin State is not even under the emperor. However, Zhang Yunhe is a very low-key person with very few appearances. The affairs of Danwu College, he mostly handed over to several deputy deans to take care of himself, and he became a shopkeeper. The students of Danwu College have been studying here for several years and may not be able to see him. Even in some teachings, Zhang Yunhe is a very mysterious figure. Obviously, Hu Yanyang is one of the few people in the college who can see Zhang Yunhe. Obviously, Hu Yanyang is dedicated to reporting to Yi Yun from Zhang Yunhe. He told Yi Yun's amazing performance to Zhang Yunhe, but Zhang Yunhe just listened quietly and did not say anything. Wei Yan, you are not safe. You win or lose is a common thing in the military, you don't have to worry about it. In the 30 years of Hedong, when it is our turn to rise, others can't stop it. Zhang Yunhe faint. President. But Yi Yuan, Hu Yanyang also wanted to say a few words for Yi Yuan. Zhang Yunhe stopped gesturing to stop him. All said that you should be a little bit stunned. Hey, it's always a temper to call you. Isn't that still not? What are you worried about? Let's say that we have a lot of good students this time, like Longtang, Left, No, O, and the South Wind, the Ho, are good seedlings. Hey, the leaf you said far from being good, but the genius who has not grown up is not a genius. A genius who has not broken through the spiritual environment is not a genius. Do you understand? Zhang Yunhe said that Hu Yanyang really calmed down and thought about what he seemed to understand. President, are you afraid? Yi Yuan is the trick of his departure. Now think about it. A month ago, Yi Yuan was still a big novice, and he was already a full-fledged genius in a month. The actual combat power is more than the genius of the 8-powered genius. This span is indeed too exaggerated. Do not say anything else. From the cultivation of vitality to the 4 elements of vitality, even the genius of Longtang, fear that it will take at least 1 year. However, Yi Yuan only took it in a month. Such amazing growth is indeed somewhat ridiculous. The most direct idea is to overdraw the potential. The price of overdraft potential is to sacrifice future development. Zhang Yunhe smiled and said, I didn't say that, I will observe it for a while. Let's not worry too much about resources. Yi Yuan, he is not searching for tens of thousands of yuan, it is no problem to cultivate to the vitality. What? Hu Yanyang sighed and quit his words. After Hu Yanyang left, Zhang Yunhe came to the window with his hand and seemed to say to himself, Yi Yuan, I hope that you are really a genius, don't let me down. The refining pharmacist's assessment was carried out in the imperial city 4 days later, and Yi Yuan took home with a green child for 2 days. Shortly after the breakthrough, Yi Yuan intends to use these days to consolidate the realm. The next step is to directly impact the vitality. Within a small step of the Yuan dynasty, Yi Yuan can completely ignore the bottleneck of a realm and directly cross the past. This is already his deliberate slowdown. If he is not worried that the foundation is not strong, Yi Yuan can even break through several realms in 1 day. After all, for Yi Yuan, who used to be the king of God, it is too simple. If the master and the lady know that the young master has become a prefecture-level student, they are definitely happy. Green looked proud, as if she had become a prefecture-level student. A rare student, what is rare? Yi Yuan's mouth is very disdainful. Of course it's amazing. You don't know what expressions they were outside at the time. They stared at the light curtain like a ghost. I didn't know how good the classmates were. I heard them say Danwu College. No one has ever been able to advance to the prefecture when he is full of vitality, only to know that the young master is so powerful. Green is excited. Haha. When they are surprised, they will be more. If you are like this every time, then you must not be exhausted. Infected by the mood of Green, Yi Yuan also smiled heartily. How can I be tired? In that case, I will be happy every day, Green said innocently. Then let me make my family's green children happy every day. Hey, it's still a good young man. Green is very happy now. Hey, how is the medicine incense pavilion so few today? At this time, it's already queued up. The master and the servant unwittingly came to the medicine incense, but the green child found that there was something wrong with the medicine. The medicinal herbs in front of the door have always been crowded, but today it seems a bit deserted. Go in and see. Yi Yuan took the green child into the medicine incense pavilion and found that there were really few people. Even the usual 50% did not. What happened? Yi Ye, how come you are back? The shopkeeper was obviously very leisurely today. When Yi Yuan entered the door, he found it and quickly came to say hello. Feng treasurer, how is the medicine incense cabinet so few people today? What happened? The treasurer surnamed Feng, ranking the third in the family, is called Feng San. He is the old man of the medicine incense, and he is loyal to the medicine incense, and even Yi Hang is also respectful to him. Feng Sanyi listened to Yi Yuan and asked, but he couldn't help but sigh, oh, not all of them are drunk. I don't know where they got a danfang called Juyuan Dan. Even more than 50% of the efficacy of Shangpin Yuanqi Dan. They are launching new medicinal drugs in the past 2 days, which has attracted people to the past. Can our business of pharmacy pavilion be plummeted? Hey, with this kind of remedy the Drunk Star building can be in an invincible position. The East is also frowning for 2 days. Sure enough, it is Drunk Star building. Juyuan Dan, Yi Yuan thought about it. Yeah, this Juyuan Dan and Shangpin Yuanqi Dan are about the same price, but the efficacy is 50% stronger. As long as it is a warrior, who can resist such temptation? Hey, the days of our medicine incense are probably not good. Feng San's voice sighed and his face was full of sadness. Obviously these days were also broken. The hand of Drunk Star House was too sudden. There was no sign in advance, and the drug was so unprepared that the situation was very passive. Feng dispensers don't have to worry about it. A small gathering of Yuan Dan can't afford the big waves. Yi Yuan smiled and comforted. Feng San looked at Yi Yuan and sighed. The young master may not understand what this 50% drug effect means. It is something that can change the pattern of Qingguodan drug market. With this, the Drunk Star building can be a single big. Yi Yuan knows that the explanation is useless. He laughs. Feng treasurer, is my father in the store? I am going to find him. In the past few days, the East has been retreating in the alchemy room. Chapter 54 Worry for the Father. Yi Hang's hands and phantoms generally spur the drug tripod, and the pills in the drug tripod are about to become Dan, giving off a faint glow. Code. Yi Hang sang low and the light on the pill disappeared and condensed into a greenish medicinal herb. Reaching out, the pill flew into Yi Hang's hands. Oh, I am too self-sufficient. If the new drug is so well developed, can I get the leaf to do it? Yi Hang shook his head and threw the newly pill. At this time, Yi Hang's feelings are obviously consumed by the heart. He has been sleeping and developing new drugs for a few days, and he wants to save the scent of the medicine. However, all efforts are futile. Although Yuanqi Dan is not a high-ranking medicinal herb, after years of development, it is actually very mature. Want to refine the new remedy that replaces the qi, and it is so easy to do it. I can't think of Yi Yi's efforts for so many years, still can't get rid of the ending of defeat, it is a failure. Yi Hang was a sigh. I don't know what happened. Yi Hang's mind suddenly appeared in the shape of Yi Yuan, and some of the confused scorpions recovered some clarity. If you lose, you will lose. At least my son has the mysterious master. The future achievements will be limitless. These days, Yi Yuan's performance at Danwu College is naturally somewhat understandable, and his heart is very satisfied. However, he still does not know that Yi Yuan has been promoted to 4 levels of strength, and passed the Zon level advanced assessment, becoming a prefecture level student. Yi Hangbin is an open-minded person and does not take too much success or failure. It's just that the old man of Yao Shangge has been with him for a long time. The success or failure of his own person is related to the livelihood of many people, and he will want to pull back a city around the clock. Perhaps it is the heart of the soul. Yi Hang just thought of his son. Yi Yuan's knock on the door rang. "Father, the baby is back, can you come in?" Yi Hang's heart fretting, opened the door in the past, and it really is Yi Yuan. "Father, I heard that you are retreating. I will find it directly, and I will not bother you." Yi Yuan said to Yi Hang, and said, "Haha, what are you bothering? Far back, the big things have to be put aside. Go, let's talk to the father and son in the study room. You tell me about Danwu College." Yi Hang took his son and went to the study. It is. Yi Yuan was moved, and Yi Hang's love for his son really surpassed all. At this time, Yi Hang has the heart to understand what his son is doing at Danwu College, instead of trying to pull back the situation. Yi Yuan's position in Yi Hang's heart can be imagined. Before leaving, Yi Yuan glanced at the alchemy room and smelled the smell of medicine in the air. He knew the purpose of Yi Hang's retreat. Far, I heard that when you first returned to the college, you had a life and death battle with the boy who surnamed Wanjia, and he killed him with the strength of 3 strengths. It's really a big heart. Hey, you have broken through. 4-fold. Yi Hang didn't pay attention to it just now. However, this speech found that Yi Yuan's breath was much stronger than before. It was obvious that he had already broken through the 4 vitality and could not help but be shocked. Oh, the child had a good fortune 2 days before the break, and in the advanced assessment of yesterday, he passed 3 levels, and now he is already a prefecture level student. Yi Yuan is not showing off, but knows that his father is in a bad mood and finds something to cheer him up. Yi Hang is very embarrassed, and it is obviously not a small amount of consumption in these days. Yi Yuan's heart is also distressed. Sure enough, listening to Yi Yuan said that Yi Hang's whole body is a lot of spirit, and he likes it. There is a sky in the sky, my child is really alive. Wanjia's kid has just risen to the prefecture level, it took a month to rise to the prefecture level, and this face was really buzzing. Ha ha ha. After a burst of laughter, Yi Hang gradually calmed down, but the happiness on his face could not be concealed. Suddenly think of something, Yi Hang brows slightly wrinkled, asked Yi Yuandao, "Far, your strength is so fast, naturally it is a good thing, but will it affect your future practice?" Yi Hang's worry is coincident with Zhang Yunhe, and this kind of worry is not without reason. The practice of martial arts has always been a step-by-step. In order to pursue a short period of time and then neglect the solid foundation, it is a martial arts taboo. Yi Yuan's progress rate is too fast. As a father, he naturally fears that his son's roots will affect his future practice. Father, rest assured that the child has a number of hearts. The skill that the master passed to the child is very magical. If I don't worry about the realm rising too fast, I am now practicing to the strength of the 7 or 8. Yi Yuan did not think. He said that although Yi Hang still has some concerns, he is also relieved. The master of Yi Yuan Meng was so unpredictable and taught him so many skills that he should not harm him. That's good, right? You are only going to college soon, how come back to the imperial city? Is it lack of cultivation resources? Yi Yuan's decision to participate in the refining pharmacist's assessment was decided yesterday. Yi Hang has not yet received the news. After 4 days, the college organized a collective assessment by the refining pharmacists' union. I came to the refining pharmacist for evaluation. Refining pharmacist assessment. Hey, you can refine the spirit of the heart and participate in the Dantu assessment. Naturally, there are only 3 opportunities for the refining pharmacist to evaluate. You have too little experience in your experience. Are you sure? In Yi Hang's view, Yi Yuan was able to refine his strength at the beginning, and he must have failed countless times before he succeeded. Zizi Mo Ruo, Yi Yuan had never touched alchemy before, and there was no skill in how to improve the success rate of alchemy. These days have been practiced a lot of children, it should not be a problem. Yi Yuan laughed. That's good. Adjust these 2 days and try to participate in the assessment in the best state. Yi Heng encouraged. Yi Yuan naturally nodded, then took the opportunity to ask. Father, when the baby came back, he asked Feng's treasurer. Is his father worried about Juyuan Dan these days? Yi Yuan mentions this. Yi Heng's face flashed a trace of unnaturalness, but quickly concealed the past, smiled. You are going to practice in the college, and you don't have to worry about things at home. Wan Donghai can't help you for so many years. Father, this time it will not work naturally. Yi Yuan sighed and said, Father, the baby has grown up, this low-level lie can't fool me. Yi Heng looked awkwardly. Ha, ha ha, actually, this time, something is so difficult. Father, the master taught me a lot of knowledge about medicinal herbs in my dreams. There is a kind of medicinal medicine called blasting yuandan. The efficacy is several times that of yuanqi dan. It should help you through this difficult time. Yi Yuan Zhong Road. Several times. Are you talking about the second-order remedy? It's useless. Yi Heng shook his head. He didn't think there was any effect of the first-order remedy that was several times that of Yuan Dan. Yi Yuan is also shaking his head. Not a second-order remedy, just a first-order remedy. What? One-step immortality? How many times? How is it possible? Yi Heng's eyes widened and his face was full of disbelief. Chapter 55 Inner Vibration. It is very difficult to improve the already mature medicinal herbs and make it more effective. Yi Heng is already a junior Dan, and it is impossible to improve the efficacy of Yuan Dan. The difficulty is obvious. As for the invention of a new first-order medicinal herb, the efficacy is still several times that of Yuanqi Dan. That is simply the Arabian Nights. Otherwise, how could Juyuan Dan of the Drunk Star House bring such tremendous pressure to Yi Heng? However, nowadays, the things of the Arabian Nights have really happened. The shock in Yi Heng's heart can be imagined. Since Yi Heng has set foot on Dan medicine, I have never heard of any first-order medicinal herbs in the past few decades. The efficacy is several times that of Yuanqi Dan. However, Yi Yuan said that what happened to Yuan Dan, even this miraculous effect. Yi Heng is now in a very contradictory situation. Reason tells him that this is definitely a lie. However, it is his son who said this lie. Should he believe it or not? Taking a deep breath, Yi Heng said bitterly, Afar, isn't it a joke with the father? Yi Yuan is laughing. Does the father know if he tries it? Yi Hengcho stood up and took Yi Yuan and left. What are you waiting for? Go to the alchemy room. Don't worry, my father said something to my father. Yi Yuan did not move. Oh, what will be said later? Refining the explosion of Yuan Dan is the top priority. Yi Heng is obviously impatient. It is related to the life and death of the medicine incense. Yi Heng's surface is calm, but the inner anxiety is unmatched. Yao Shangge is his life's hard work. Even if his mind is open-minded, he is not willing to watch it fall through the tree overnight. However, Yi Yuan was not in a hurry. He took his father and sat back again. He smiled and said, The explosion of Yuan Dan is only a small matter. The number of Dan Fang who passed me by the master is not enough. Waiting for what I want to say. Things are the focus, father is patient. Yi Heng has some circles. Is there anything more important than saving the medicine? Well, you said, I listen. Yi Yuan sat back in his place and solemnly said, The things that the master taught me in my dreams are very mixed, but there are 2 laws. I want to tell my father. One is called, Lingyang Juyang God, another the title of the article is, Thousands of Derivatives. After the father can renovate these 2 exercises, I believe that in the future, Yu Yunzong will be nothing but a small door for his father. Listening to Yi Yuan's name of the 2 laws, Yi Heng was shocked, and the shock in his heart was even stronger than that of the explosion. Thousands of thousand souls, is it the law of cultivation of soul power? Yi Heng's question with a vibrato, obviously very excited. Yi Heng didn't know what the Lingyang Juyang Sheng was, but the name, thousands of souls, he once thought of the cultivation of the soul. In places like Shin, the preciousness of the spiritual cultivation cannot be described in words. Even the lowest level spiritual cultivation method can be set off, and it cannot be measured by the yellow and white things. The practice of the martial arts, the Yuanli method is everywhere, but there are good and bad points, but the cultivation of the soul is such a rare thing to the point of horrible. Compared with Yuan Li, the soul is more illusory, more mysterious, and it is harder to create a set of soul-repairing methods than to climb the sky. Throughout the ages, only the kind of powerful people who have reached a very high level in the cultivation of the soul and have a deep understanding of the soul are likely to create their own methods of repairing the soul. The number of cultivating the soul is probably not even one of the 100,000 points of the martial arts. The rareness of it can be imagined. However, the preciousness of the spiritual cultivation is not manifested in the strength of the military. In fact, the strength of the soul is very limited to the strength of the military. The horror of the soul method is that it can make a large number of refining pharmacists. What does the refiner mean? It means endless remedy, which means that a sect can quickly improve its strength. Imagine if a sect was a warrior with a large number of peaks, but these warriors could not break because of their limited talent. At this time, Zongman's refining pharmacist got a sorcerer's law, and his strength leaps forward, refining the medicinal herbs that can help the spiritual environment break through the realm. What a terrible thing! A refining pharmacist is a profession with a very low threshold but an extremely difficult upgrade. The threshold is extremely low because the one-star refining pharmacist, that is, Dan's request for the soul force is extremely low, and the soul of the mighty warrior can be achieved. However, Dantu to Danshi is a big threshold, because from the second-order medicinal herbs, there is a great improvement in the spiritual requirements of the refining pharmacists. This threshold of soul power has blocked countless potential refining pharmacists outside the gate. Every time a warrior raises a big realm, the soul will be nourished by the power of heaven and earth, and thus there will be a substantial improvement. However, this kind of improvement cannot keep up with the improvement of the spiritual requirements of the refining pharmacists. The wind has long been a high-level Dan, and it has long since broken into the spiritual environment, but it has been delayed to become a Dan teacher, because of the lack of soul power. Now, there is a soul-repairing law in front of Yi Hang. How can he not be excited? Yi Hang has been in the Junior Dan division for several years, and has been unable to break through because of lack of soul power. With thousands of souls, it is a matter of time for Yi Hang to enter the intermediate Dan division. Yi Yuan said that it is not bad. Compared with this, thousands of souls, what is the explosion of Yuan Dan is insignificant. Even if he is now played by Wan Donghai without any help, as long as there is this, thousands of souls, his future subversion of the Drunk Star building is simply a matter of turning hands. Yes, thousands of souls, is the soul of the soul. Yi Yuan gave his father a certain look. Great. With this, thousands of souls, what is Wan Donghai? Ha ha ha. Yi Hang said 3 times, too good, I can see how excited he is inside. After the excitement, Yi Hang suddenly felt that something was wrong. For Yi Yuandao, these 2 laws are accepted by the high man. You privately taught me, if the old man knows that you will personally practice his practice in the future. Exclusion, is it not difficult for you to do? I still don't learn, you just tell me the dandan of the Yuandan. Yi Hang gritted his teeth and rejected Yi Yuan's kindness, but the disappointment in that eyes could be seen by anyone. Yi Yuan is a shock in my heart. He is very clear about the temptation of a refining sorcerer to the refining pharmacist. If the Zhongshan, the beauty and the cultivating the soul are put together, the refining pharmacist will definitely choose to repair the soul. This point, Yi Yuan himself is a refining pharmacist, too clear. It can be said that with the practice of repairing the soul, the reputation, status, and beauty will come one after another. How can a refining pharmacist be stupid enough to choose another? After all, like the military, strength is the foundation of the refining pharmacist. However, Yi Hang is willing to give up the opportunity to become a high-ranking refining pharmacist for himself. How can he not be shocked? Reborn to the present, Yi Hang's bit by bit in his heart, so that Yi Yuan's mind has been greatly impacted, but unconsciously it has shed tears. Chapter 56 Sad Reminder of Wan Yuan. Former life and present, this is Yi Yuan's second tear. The first time I shed tears is when my father Zhengyongzi was killed by the traitor to protect himself. That scene, even if it has experienced the cycle of life and death, it is so clear. The unforgettable pain also prompted Yi Yuan to work hard now, and wanted to kill the gods one day and the traitor. This is the second time that Yi Yuan shed tears. Although it was not a matter of life and death, Yi Hang's selfless fatherly love was deeply shocked by Yi Yuan. This feeling, Yi Yuan only felt in Zhengyangzi. Whether Yi Hang is his true father or not, he is true to his unpaid love. Qingyunzi inherited Yi Yuan's body and was influenced by this body. Naturally, he was very close to Yi Hang. In addition, Yi Hang is really good for the new Yi Yuan, and Yi Yuan's heart is guilty only to recognize this father. But deep down, Yi Yuan just regards him as a relatively close person, and there is no such true father and son. In Yi Yuan's heart, the real father only had Zhengyangzi, so he did not have the first time to pass these things to Yi Hang. But now, Yi Yuan has recognized this father from the bottom of his heart. The two worlds are human beings, and the fatherly love of the two fathers has melted the heart of Yi Yuan. In fact, at the beginning of these two laws, Yi Yuan still hesitated. However, if Yi Hang was killed by Wan Donghai, his future practice would be much more troublesome. With the character of Wan Donghai, he will certainly not let the lost Yi Hang better. Yi Yuan is still weak in strength and cannot protect himself. Thinking again and again, Yi Yuankai decided to come down. But now, Yi Yuan has been completely relieved. Looking at Yi Yuan, who was in tears, Yi Hang was shocked and said, "What happened to you? Is it wrong for the father?" Yi Yuan shook his head and said, "The child is okay, just feels. The child has not been sensible before, let the father worry, and the baby will become your pride in the future." Yi Hang listened to this and also let go of his heart. He said with emotion, "Haha, stupid son, I also learned to be sensational. We are fathers and sons. Didn't you say this? But far away, do you know that you are most pleased with me? I have gained the inheritance of the peerless strongman, but grew up insensible. The man, never looking back, has to go forward until it breaks through this world." Yi Yuanwen's words are also slightly moving. Yi Hang is a rare mortal country, but with such ambitions, it is rare. Yi Yuan knows that Yi Hang's qualifications are not bad. What he lacks is resources. As long as there are enough resources for cultivation, Yi Hang's future achievements must not be low. Yi Hang has not been 40 years old now, and he is still young on the road of warriors. The possibility is still very big. Yi Yuan bowed toward Yi Hang and said, "The child has been taught. But the two masters still have to learn, and there is nothing wrong with it. The high man taught these things to me, but did not say that it could not be passed on. The class is obviously left to my discretion. Moreover, I am not a professor, you are my close relative, taught to you, and I don't want to say anything to his old man." This, really okay. Yi Hang still hesitated. "Father, do you think that such a high-ranking person will make such inferior mistakes? If he does not want me to pass on these things, he must be warned," but he did not mention it in half a sentence. "It should be handled by my discretion. He really wants to find a smuggler. I don't want to ruin me because of this thing. Big deal, the next time he looks for me, I will explain this to him. If he feels wrong, our father and son will, that's it." Yi Yuan's words of arrogance and dryness have dispelled Yi Hang's doubts. "Okay, our father and son are together," Yi Hang said with pride. Although this is said in the mouth, Yi Hang's heart is a secret. If the high man really comes to find trouble, then I will sin for the martial arts. In any case, you can't let Yuaner come to this matter. Yi Hang certainly does not know that the so-called high man does not exist at all. In the next few days, Yi Yuan and his son were both closed. Yi Hang spent all his time on the enlightenment of thousands of souls, while Yi Yuan is consolidating his own realm. Before the retreat, Yi Hang told him to go down, and the medicine shangge was only open as usual. No matter how tossing in the drunk star building, don't act rashly, and wait for him to go out. He now has a burst of Yuan Dan, but he is not in a hurry to shoot. Let Wan Donghai toss for a while, then kill him with a stick. With the foundation of the medicine fragrant pavilion, even if Wan Donghai has Juyuan Dan, it is impossible to completely fight for a moment. Yi Hang uses this time to improve his strength as soon as possible. In this world of weak meat, strength is the last word. Yi Heng understands that the efficacy of explosive Yuandan is several times that of Yuanqi Dan, but once exposed, the influence can be more than several times. If there is not enough strength, this explosion Yuandan will become a curse. Yi Heng's original attention was placed on the thousands of souls, but there was a lack of interest in Ling Yang Ju Yang Shen. However, this cultivation, he only knows the horror of the Ling Yang Ju Yang God. It took only 3 days, and there was a gap in his realm of no looseness. This is the result of his simultaneous practice of thousands of souls. With the help of the power of medicinal herbs, Yi Heng broke through the level in one fell swoop and raised a small realm. Above the spiritual environment is the condensed crystal environment. In the condensed crystal environment, it is difficult to break through a small realm, and the difficulty is no less than a heavy cultivation from the vitality to the vitality. Some people have not broken through a small realm in 5 or even 10 years, and the difficulty can be imagined. Moreover, Yi Heng discovered that since he cultivated the Lingyang Juyang God, his Yuan Li in the field was also a lot thicker, and the condensed crystals seemed to have signs of liquefaction reaggregation. As for the thousands of souls, it is the soul of Yi Yuan's past practice, and the preciousness of nature is not to mention much. In the same 3 days, Yi Heng's soul power made a breakthrough and successfully broke through to the realm of the Middle Dayton division. However, Yi Heng still has no plans to leave the customs. He will continue to retreat and fully cultivate the Lingyang Juyang God, to improve his strength as much as possible. Because Yi Heng is uncertain what kind of sensation will be caused by the explosion of Yuan Dan once it is available. 4 days later, finally arrived at the day of assessment, Yi Yuan went to the refining pharmacists' union and the big forces to meet. When Yi Yuan arrived, the hall of the refining pharmacists' union was already crowded with people. Most people have never seen it, but there are a few people who know him, and if the wind is clear and Wan Yuan. Wan Yuan is really a source of family studies. He was a middle-level Daniel. This time he should be a senior Dane assessment. Moreover, it is said that the soul of Wan Yuan is quite powerful, and it will be a matter of course to become a Dan teacher in the future. Because of this, Wan Yuan has received a lot of attention at Danwu College. At this time, Wan Yuan is talking about what the wind is saying, but the wind is cold and frosty, and he likes to ignore it. Wan Yuan did not feel intolerant because of the performance of the wind, but smiled. At this time, the wind was seeing Yi Yuan, and suddenly he showed a pleasant expression, and opened Wan Yuan and strode to Yi Yuan. Yi Yuan, how come you come? My aunt and I have been waiting for you for a long time, and I thought you were afraid that the exam would not come. Yi Yuan knew that the wind was to get rid of Wan Yuan, and he couldn't help but look at Wan Yuan. He saw the face of the pig liver and the murderous eyes. Chapter 57 Greeting. Seeing the shackles flashed in the eyes of the wind, Yi Yuan was quite helpless. This girl must have known the bad relationship between himself and Wan Yuan, and deliberately abandoned Wan Yuan to say hello to himself. This is to hate Yi Yuan, but he and Wan Yuan have already been the endless end of the game, no matter how much more. Yi Yuan has some headaches, and the style of the wind is not the same as the legend. He lost her to Lu Ruoshui. Isn't it still starting? What are you doing so early? An assessment is no need to make a fuss. Yi Yuan didn't have a good air. Hey, I have heard from your aunt about your business. You have been talking about papers until now. Who knows from which books you have seen some messy things, and your aunts are smashed. Disdain. Yi Yuan was too lazy to explain to her, and walked straight past her, and greeted the wind. And this scene is seen in Wan Yuan's eyes. It seems like a couple of flirtatious love, but also hate teeth. He is fond of Lu Ruoshui, but the wind is higher than Lu Ruoshui. If he can win the beauty, what is a little Lu Ruoshui? The popular is the goddess of all male students, which naturally includes Wan Yuan. It's just that he used to have too many grades and he didn't have the chance to contact her. Now Wan Yuan is already a prefecture-level student, and he is already an intermediate-level Dantu. This assessment has a thorough grasp of the senior Dantu assessment. Wan Yuan believes that it will not take long for him to stand on the same starting line as the wind. With enough strength, Wan Yuan's idea is naturally more. This time I participated in the examination of the refining pharmacist, Wang Yuan did not expect to be able to encounter the wind, so she cheated on her door, and the clinker was not responding at all. In Qin state, an intermediate Dayton division is definitely the object of everyone's stagnation. If not, how can Lu Ruishui and Wang Yuan go so close? However, this name does not seem to be very useful here. She seems to have never heard of the name Wan Donghai. Wang Yuan suddenly has a moment, and when he thinks about it, he will be relieved. The top 3 figures in Wubang will not be worse than their fathers in the future. It is normal to be proud. However, once some of the minds move, they can no longer be pressed. The more difficult it is to chase a woman, the more often it can provoke a man's fighting spirit. However, Wang Yuan did not expect to see Yi Yuan here, but did not expect Yi Yuan to have a good relationship with the wind. Coupled with the rumors of the wind and the leaves between Yi Yuan and Yi Yuan in the past few days, the bonfire in Wang Yuan's heart burned. The 2 goddesses of Danwu College have had such a deep relationship with Yi Yuan. Why? Although Yi Yuan has risen strongly in the recent period and even made Wang Yuan feel the threat, he looked down on Yi Yuan's deep-rooted and instinctively felt that Yi Yuan did not deserve it. If the wind sees Yi Yuan, he can't help but shine. He pulls him to the side and whispers, "You let me draw the right hand and draw the right hand. I have already trained almost. I can't think of it really useful for the yin and yang shunt. If the wind is clear and calm, it is a little excited at this time." If it wasn't the case, she even wanted to shout out the heart. She actually practiced yin and yang shunting very early, but no matter how she practiced, she could not enter. Now only practiced for a few days according to the method of Yi Yuanjiao, the yin and yang shunting technique has actually made rapid progress. Yi Yuanbai had a clear eye, and he didn't have a good air. "You didn't say it was useless. How did you pick it up?" The excitement of the wind and the sun is abruptly stopped, the color of the face is exposed, and the heart is also abdomen. How does this kid have a little pity and no jealous heart? I am embarrassed to face myself. You didn't say anything at the time. How do I know if it works? At least explain it to me. Why do you want to do it? Seeing the wind as so pitiful, Yi Yuan is not good to marry her again. The essence of yin and yang shunting is to use one heart and 2 minds. When you apply the technique, the power is chaotic, and the 2 hands can't coordinate at all. Calling you to practice painting is to exercise 1 mind and 2 skills. But this is only a preliminary introduction. If you want the strength of both hands to reach the level of yin and yang, you need to practice hard. If the wind is clear, it reveals the sorrowful color. It turned out to be like this. No wonder how I can't improve my training. All beginnings are hard. Although Yi Yuan said that the wind is only a preliminary introduction, as long as this foot is coming in, the road ahead will be much better. As a refining pharmacist, the quality of the wind is not bad, the only difference is the vision and experience. Well, the tuition will not be taught by you, but don't look for me as an assistant in the future. I am very busy. Yi Yuan puts his hand in his hand. If the wind is clear, it will be a bitter. Others are eager to be his assistants, but Yi Yuan is shunning it. Isn't it so attractive? A woman is such a strange animal. Sometimes the more you chase her, the more she feels that you hate it. When you stay away from her, she feels very lost. The whispers of these 2 people naturally attracted a lot of attention. Although I don't know what they are saying, it's like a little lady who is trained to watch the wind. Everyone can't help but guess, is there really what these 2 people really have? At this moment, several old men in red robes entered the hall from the side door, and 2 old men were accompanied by 2 little girls. Feng Ruoqing is the teacher of this assessment. She is temporarily replaced. At this time, she naturally needs her to come out. Haha, the wind girl is good. You haven't come to our union for a while. I am afraid that I am studying the refining drugs. If you go on like this, we are really shameful. The old man seemed to be in the wind. Qing is old knowledge, and when I meet, I chill. When the wind was clear, it returned to the quiet and dusty teaching. The old man gave a slight blessing to the old man. He smiled and said, Wang, the president, the grandson, the elders are good. President Wang said, the last time. Only half a year, how long has it? If this is the end of the fine, how can you let the president of the king be ashamed? You are the master of the Qin dynasty pharmacist. Oh, The wind girl can really talk. But my pharaoh is not kidding. I can't see 3 years. Qingguo is afraid to have another big Dan teacher. President Wang said this is not dead. Actually, I am very appreciative of the wind. If the wind is sunny, he smiles. Wang, the president of the king, praised him, if he did not dare to act. President Wang haha smiled and said, when it is deserve. Hey, isn't this Wanyuan Yinjun? I don't think you will come to the assessment this time. Is it to participate in the assessment of the senior Dantu? For a time, everyone's eyes turned to Wang Yuan's point of view. Apparently did not expect Wang Yuan to know the vice president of the Association of Chemical Refining Pharmacists. Wang Yuan proudly glanced at Yi Yuan and went forward to the ceremony. Wang will be good. Xiao Xiao is here to participate in the senior Dantu assessment. Chapter 58. Can you stand on the right? Okay, good. Yun Zhong is really a source of family learning. At such a young age, there is already the strength of the senior Dantu. The old man has been succeeded. It is really the wave of the Yangtze River, and I am already old. Some self-deprecating. Wang, the president is just a strong year. What about the old man? The elders are the characters of my Qin dynasty pharmacist. President Wang and son are even more famous. Our juniors have a long way to go. Wang Yuan was a slap in the air and shot everyone directly. Haha, old, no more than that. Feng girl, today, I and my grandson also brought 2 younger generations. Plug in a team here, no opinion. President Wang turned to the wind and clear. If the wind is sunny, the first thing, let them see the strength of the 2 high-ranking people, knowing that people outside of nature are naturally good. Where is it? This is my close disciple, called Shu Fenger. Next to the old grandson is his granddaughter, but also his proud descendant, called Sun Kejun. These 2 juniors can't be a weapon. The wind girl cannot laugh at a moment. You 2 still, however, I have seen the wind teacher. She is older than you, but she is already an intermediate teacher. You must learn more. The president of the king scorned the little girls, but the satisfaction in the eyes could not be concealed. I don't think it's for the 2 little girls. It's impossible to personally preside over the assessment as the president of the president and the grandson of the grandson. Feng can be seen, has seen the wind teacher. The 2 women are looking forward to the wind, and the eyes are full of worship. Being an intermediate Dan teacher at this age is definitely the object of worship for all young people. Yi Yuan looked at these 2 gimmicks secretly, and the soul force was really strong. After I entered the spiritual environment, I should be a Dan teacher. Well, you are all outstanding students of Danwu College. Some people have already come to the guild to participate in several assessments. I will not introduce more rules. I will first conduct the assessment of Dantu, and then conduct the assessment of Danshi. A group of people entered the alchemy room. Now, take the station to the left side of the Dantu assessment, and participate in the assessment of the Dan teacher to the right. President Wang presided over. The Danwu Academy has only 20 people to participate in the assessment, and Shu Fenger and Sun Kejun are only 22 people. Most of them are in the Dantu assessment. Only 2 people participate in the Danshi assessment. One of them is popular. Hey, the other person is Daniel's second only to the popular. When President Wang's voice fell, a large group of people stood on the left, and Feng Xiao and Cao Yu stood on the right side, but only Yi Yuan stood still and did not move. President Wang saw this, brow wrinkled, slightly unhappy. This little friend did not hear me. Everyone can't help but look at Yi Yuan. Wang Yuan is a gloating sorrow. This kid really still likes to engage in this maverick. In the face of President Tai's fight, isn't it looking for death? Seeing Yi Yuan still does not move, the wind is sunny and a little anxious, shouting, Yi Yuan, what are you still stupid to do? Stand up to the left. Oh, actually, I want to ask, can you stand on the right side? Yi Yuan had some helplessness. He did not want to engage in this kind of maverick, but since he promised the wind to go all out, Yi Yuan did not intend to hide any strength. When the wind promised to be sunny, Yi Yuan thought about it. In the future, with the improvement of strength, the Association of Refining Pharmacists will be inseparable. If the strength of Dan Dao is strong, but he does not participate in the refining pharmacist assessment, then it is truly a maverick. When it is time to pass to the trader's ear or the headquarters of the Refining Pharmacists Guild, it is not fun, it is easy to cause their suspicion. Ha ha ha, burst into laughter. You want to participate in the Danshi assessment, do you come to be funny, or come to the two presidents of Wang and Sun to find happiness? Wan Yuan swears, but sinisterly provoke two presidents to Yi Yuan feeling bad. Sure enough, when the two men heard what Wan Yuan said, his face suddenly became difficult to look. This little friend, haven't you heard clearly? On the right, you can participate in the Dan teacher's assessment. President Wang's face was gloomy, and he added a tone when he spoke. Obviously, he was very upset. Yi Yuan, I still don't apologize to the two presidents. This is the Refining Pharmacists Guild, not to scatter wild. The wind is so eager to keep eye on Yi Yuan, and it is not fun to offend the two giants of the Refining Pharmacists Association. Thing. The Association of Refining Pharmacists has always been a transcendental thing, and even the royal family has been in command. No one has ever dared to play the president of the Association of Refining Pharmacists. But now, Yi Yuan has opened this first river. Of course, this is in the eyes of others. However, Yi Yuan did not seem to see it. Instead, he smiled and said to the President Wang, the younger generation listened clearly, just standing on the right side, I want to participate in the Dan teacher assessment. You have a four-fold participation in the Dan teacher assessment. President Wang apparently moved the real anger. Not bad. Yi Yuan is not afraid at all. Which child are you, dare to be so rude? Is it here to come to the past? President Wang has already reached the edge of anger. If it is not the face of the wind, he will have Yi Yuan boomed out. At this time, Wan Yuan naturally stood up and said, Wang Wangcheng asked for anger, this person has always been arrogant, never put his elders in his eyes. But when talking about his family, President Wang must know his father. Oh, Yin Xian is talking about who his father is. President Wang was curious. His father is Yi Hang, the big owner of Yaoshangge. Wan Yuan respectfully said. After listening to this statement, President Wang frowned. It is actually the son of Yi Laodi. Yi Laodi is the father of the tiger, how can a son be so shallow and thin? Yi Yuan and Wan Yuan are almost the same age, but they are only four-powered. Obviously, they are not seeking advancement. It's just that it's a four-pronged one. Even if you don't know what you want to take in the assessment of Dan's teacher, does he think that Dan is a Chinese cabbage? He has been invading Dan Dao for so many years, let alone the four powerful, that is, he has never heard of the talent of Jucho. I don't know how many spiritual environments have been blocked from the gates of Dan Shi. A four-powered but heavy-minded person has to participate in the Dan teacher assessment. Is this not intentional disorder? I am not so boring to entertain you. Just think that the first-level assessment is too a waste of time, so it is better to participate directly in the Dan teacher assessment. Yi Yuanyu is not surprisingly endless. Hey, I am the son of Yi Hang, this time the disrespectful sin is counted, but this assessment is still worth it. Wind girl, it is not old and not giving you face, this kid is too noisy. Come, this person blasted me out. President Wang finally broke up. At this time, Wan Yuan was more happy in his heart, and his heart was called to be alive. Slow. At this moment, the wind finally cleared and stopped. Chapter 59 The assessment begins. Slow. The wind was clear and the time stood up. If the move of the wind caused the students to whisper, it seems that the relationship between the two people is getting more and more solid. The president will ask for anger, can you let me ask him 2 sentences? Although Feng Ruqing is a teaching of Danwu College, her qualifications have been submerged on the site of the Association of Refining Pharmacists. President Wang was silent for a moment before he nodded slightly. If the wind is clear, the eyes look at Yi Yuan intricately. I want to see if he is really well-fed or awkward, but he can't see it for a long time. Yi Yuan, I ask you, is the agreement between us not counted? Ask the wind if it was clear. It's just that this problem is a bit embarrassing. Everyone except the wind knows the inside story, others are delusional. Yi Yuan has some helplessness. If it is not for obeying the agreement, do you think that I like to be seen as a monster by them? Listening to Yi Yuan saying that the mood of the wind is clear, I don't know how to relax. Others don't know the strength of Yi Yuan's Dan Dao, but the wind is clear, but it is very clear. Can you freely point her to this intermediate Dan teacher? Yi Yuan is afraid of the realm. If the wind is sunny, there is a feeling that she sees only the tip of the iceberg of Yi Yuan's strength. What kind of freak is this guy? He is only 15 years old. What do you mean, are you sure? Although she has confidence in Yi Yuan, but Yi Yuan's work is too subversive, so she has to confirm it. Oh, I am not sure about this, Yi Yuan said very irresponsibly. Seeing that the wind is going to be violent, Yi Yuan immediately said, is it possible to refine a second-order remedy? Yes, as long as you can refine any kind of second-order remedy in 2 hours, even through the assessment of the junior Dan teacher. Hey, if that's the case, there should be no problem, Yi Yuan said faintly, as if refining the second-order medicinal herbs is as simple as drinking water. In this case, I hope you don't let me down. After the wind was finished, he took out a bottle of medicinal medicine from the cuff and said to the president of the king, "The president, I have 3 souls here, and I am here to protect Yi Yuan. If Yi Yuan is really to make trouble, these 3 souls will be aggravated to the guild." When this statement came out, everyone's face was shocked. Yangling Dan is a third-order remedy, and it is a very precious third-order remedy. Because the role of raising the soul Dan is to enhance the spirit of the warrior, so that the soul of the warrior becomes powerful. This kind of medicinal medicine is a dream for the refining pharmacist. President Wang was shocked and surprised. I didn't expect Feng Ruqing to take such precious things for Yi Yuan. As one of the giants of the Association of Refining Pharmacists, he knows the true identity of the wind, so he will be so polite to her. If you change to be someone else to lead the team today, you will be too lazy to talk nonsense with others. The wind girl really wants to bring out such precious things for an ignorant child. President Wang still can't believe it now. If Qing knows that Yi Yuan is somewhat ridiculous, but I believe that he has this strength. What we have never seen before does not mean that it does not exist. What we can't do does not mean that others can't do it, Qing said very firmly. Well, since the wind girl insists on this, the old man can't do this evil person today. But the wind girl must know that the oldest is to see it on your face, and to change it to others, even if it is to take out this soul. Dan will not be with her. Wang Huichang Shen Shang. Thank you for the president of the king. She knows that President Wang is not vocal, although the soul of Dan is precious, but with the powerful power of the Association of Refining Pharmacists, this kind of remedy is not too scarce. The reason why she promised is mainly to see that she is the face of the royal princess. Since the wind girl is so persistent, Yi Yuan, you will stand on the right side. But the old ugly words are in front. If you really take the old and find happiness, I cannot take this medicine, you have to suffer a bite. Otherwise this when things went out, others thought that my refining pharmacists guild became a place for children to play. Although President Wang's words were not fast, but the words were ambiguous, it was obviously determined to make Yi Yuan look good. Yi Yuan was too lazy to care for him, standing directly to the wind. Hey, have you made a mistake? You don't want to harm my aunt. You are a 4-powered, how can you refine the second-order remedy? Yi Yuan looked at the wind and glanced back, and took it back. He said, you still manage yourself. I think you are still awkward this time. How is the strength of the college Danbang so weak? The wind did not expect to be returned by Yi Yuan, so angry that he could not speak. On the other side, Wang Yuan looked at Yi Yuan and hated it. Why does the wind teacher come up with such a valuable thing for him? Yi Yuan he can. Wait a minute, now mad, there is no side, see how you end up. Wang Yuan shouted in the bottom of his heart. The alchemy room used for the assessment is independent. There are 10 alchemy houses, and 5 alchemy houses are connected together. In the middle is a hall, and there is a light curtain on the north side of the hall. The examiner can see everything in the alchemy room through the light curtain. To the south is the drug store. There are many things involved in alchemy, such as fire control, pharmacology, array therapy, etc., but in the end it is to refine the medicinal herbs. If refining does not produce medicinal herbs, even if one is stronger, it will be vain and will not be recognized. Therefore, the assessment of the Association of Refining Pharmacists has always been based on the refining of finished medicinal herbs. What kind of medicinal remedy can be produced, which is the simplest and most convincing? There are not many more time, and it takes a low success rate to refine the medicinal herbs, which also reduces the possibility of the refining pharmacists taking chances. Here, everything speaks with strength. The assessment began officially, and the participants in the assessment began to select medicines. The first two groups of students entered the drug store by themselves. The person who presided over the examination was replaced by a middle-aged Dan teacher. He ordered the first two groups of students to enter the drug store to select drugs. Putting the drug in these 2 hours is actually an assessment of the students. How to find the medicines you need in the shortest time, save time for the later dispensing and refining. This is the basic skill of a refining pharmacist. In fact, from the selection of drugs, we can see that many students are strong. The faster and more accurate the selection of drugs, the more accurate the mastery of pharmacology, the natural ability to better grasp the properties of various medicinal materials, the success rate of refining naturally increased. If the wind is clear, the eyes can't help but look at Yi Yuan. I want to use Yi Yuan to understand the metamorphosis of the medicinal materials. He can come out in the medicine store in minutes. In the refining of the gas, he actually can accurately match all kinds of herbs with his hands, which is really against the sky. He is only 15 years old. Even if he starts to learn alchemy from his mother's womb, can't he reach such a realm? Thinking of this, the wind is as clear as Yi Yuan's confidence. Maybe Yi Yuan can really create a miracle, maybe. Chapter 60. Your level is too low. Among the first two groups, Shu Fenger and Sun Kejun are the most concerned. As it turns out, the two men did compare the students of Danwu College. When the two of them walked out of the drug store, others were still looking for herbs. As for Shu Fenger and Sun Kejun, these two people are not in the same league, almost at the same time from the drug store. Seeing Shu Fenger and Sun Kejun, two people stand out from the crowd, Wang Chengla and Sun Chang's face are also full of light. Especially the elder Wang, the mood that was just irritated by Yi Yuan, has turned cloudy and sunny. Wang Cheng's old name is Wang Jinfu, and Sun Chang's old name is Sun Jianming. Both of them are the old people of the Association of Refining Pharmacists, and they are also the leading Dan of Qin State. They are respected. The two are the vice presidents of the Refining Pharmacists Union, but this time with the younger generation to participate in the assessment, it is secretly more energetic. Old Sun, I didn't expect this to progress so fast. You are afraid to spend a lot of time on her. Wang Jinfu must smile. Oh, your family's phoenix is not bad. I remember that you were the close disciple who received her as the year before. I didn't expect to become a senior Dane so soon. Yes, Feng's girl is quite spiritual. It is a good seed. It is a good seed in this drug selection stage. But this is just an appetizer. The key is to look at refining. Sun Jianming nodded and expressed his approval. Obviously, among the two old men, Wang Jinfu talked, and Sun Jianming was silent. Shu Fenger and Sun Kejun began to dispense medicine immediately after entering the alchemy room. During the dispensing phase, the two people's movements are very skilled and quick. It can be seen that they usually do not give the old man outside to fight. However, these basic skills can't be seen. When it is really used, the effect will show up. In addition to some of the students who are valued, the students of Danwu College rarely have the opportunity to give the students a lot of fun. It is better to do this kind of thing than Shu Fenger and Sun Kejun. Moreover, Wang Jinfu and Sun Jianming are both masters of Dadan. They teach by hand, and the two women can't think of it. At this stage, the students of Danwu College were compared. To everyone's surprise, Shu Fenger and Sun Kejun are like a good discussion. The progress of the two is actually synchronized with God. From the selection of the drug to the end of the dispensing, the two women spent almost half an hour, showing that their basic skills are more solid. Participate in the assessment of the Association of Refining Pharmacists. Each student has 3 opportunities, so each person will prepare 3 herbs. Shu Fenger and Sun Kejun took the medicine and started the first refining. In the hall, I was so busy looking at the light curtain. She was already a senior Dan, and then I saw this lack of natural interest. Hey, Yi Yuan, who do you say that the two women will win? The wind rushed to Yi Yuan over the past and played the game of passing into the secret. In this hall, no matter how small her words are, the strength of the two old men is sure to be heard. Sun Kejun. Yi Yuan, also voiced into the secret, replied without thinking. Well, you already saw it. Why? The wind is different. The wind did not doubt Yi Yuan's words, she knew that Yi Yuan was really powerful. If the wind is clear, the eyes are always higher than the top. The teenagers who can make the ant value so much are definitely not ordinary people. However, no matter how much she feels that Yi Yuan is terrible, she does not think that he can pass the assessment of Dan Shi in the realm of vitality. Because the president of Sun is slightly better. Yi Yuan said lightly. Sun's president. What does this have to do with Sun's president? The wind was turned by Yi Yuan. Sun's president is silent and more fascinated by Dan Dao. His strength should be slightly better than that of Wang. The president is pragmatic. When he teaches his apprentices, he naturally pays more attention to rigor. Sun Kejun inherits the style of Nezu, and naturally he is slightly better. Quote. No, just because of this. Yi Yuanbai took a quick look and said, when you choose medicine, the two seem to be inconspicuous. In fact, Sun Kejun is slightly faster than Shu Fenger. The wind is dumbfounded. How did you see this? Shu Fenger refining is the Tiger Dan. Sun Kejun refining the system as Zon Qingdan. Zon Qingdan's auxiliary materials are more than a Tiger Dan, but the two are also selected at the same time. The victory and defeat can be seen. Yi Yuan's words made the wind and the wind linger in the air. You won't be swearing. From the light curtain, you can see what kind of medicine they are refining. Yi Yuan faintly smiled and said, I am not swearing. Do you know when they are finished? Well, I would like to see if you have real material. If I find that you are arrogant, don't use the president of Wang, I will throw you out first. Whatever. Yi Yuan does not care. Oh, it's so mysterious. The final result of this assessment depends on the refining of the medicinal herbs. Even if they are really slaying tigers and Zon Qingdan, are the two kinds of medicinal drugs not good enough to win? After a little while, the wind was boring and it was over. No, they have already won the game. Load. Continue to install. I don't believe it. You can see from the light curtain that the two of them won. The two of them have refining half of the medicine, and they are still not condensed. The style of Yi Yuanjiao is stimulating, and I feel that Yi Yuan is being nonsense. Sun Kejun's refining is done in one go. If it is not an accident, it should be a top-grade drug. Shu Fenger made a small mistake when he started refining. Although she corrected it in time, it definitely affected the quality of the tiger, and at most it is barely able to reach the level of the top grade. If there is any omission behind her, it is not unusual to become a Chinese medicine. Yi Yuan still calmly analyzed. Is Shu Fenger making mistakes? Why didn't I see it? You are too low to see. Yi Yuan. If it is not the occasion, the wind is now a sword is gone. The refining of Shu Fenger and Sun Kejun was completed almost simultaneously, and it was a success, and it took only 1.5 hours. Among the two groups of students, they are well-deserved kings. There is no suspense in passing the assessment of Senior Dan. The only thing left is to look at the quality of the medicinal herbs that they both refine, so as to separate them. The two took their own refining medicinal herbs to the hall and gave a ceremony to the second old man. He respectfully said, please ask Master Grandfather to identify. Wang Jinfu laughed ha-ha, but it was clear to the wind, this kind of thing is naturally not good. We say our own words, the wind girl to help us judge. If the wind is sunny, he smiles, respect is not as good as life. Feng Ruoking picked up the medicinal herbs in Shu Feng's plate and carefully tasted it. He said, the first order Shengpin medicinal tiger is very good, and it has reached the top grade. After that, the wind was clear and picked up the medicinal herbs in Sun Kejun's plate, and then said, the first order Shengpin Danshuan Qingdan, the same is very good, and the quality of the medicinal herbs has reached the top grade. In the corner, the wind stunned and opened his mouth, and looked at Yi Yuan in a horrible way.